1 minute.
Yeah.
Morning, everyone.
Morning.
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 Actually, Ian, can you share your screen, please?
There's no problem for the moment.
Did Senator Braffett get on? Yes, morning. Morning, Senator Braffett. I think that is
Good morning, I'm here.
Yes, first opportunity to address you by your proper and new title in this
Thank
setting.
you kindly.
You're welcome.
I haven't changed, I'm the same person.
Same person, good, yes. I hope you won't give up gardening for your new activity.
Not at all. That's an important activity.
Indeed, food comes first.
Fundamental.
Okay.
Good morning, Ambassador.
Good morning, Ambassador. Dashir. Ni hao, Dashir.
你好，早上好。
O hen hao. O ye hen hao.
Morning, Carrie Ann. Morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning to you. So Renee, you and your team can let us know when we're ready. So my clock is showing 4 minutes after. I don't see Ambassador Henry. Is he? I don't. Oh yes, I did see the name. Ambassador Henry is there. Morning, Ambassador Henry, or good evening to you actually.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, you can hear you now.
Good morning, sir. Good morning. Yes, it is
Morning.
evening here in
Evening
Beijing.
there, yes.
Good evening,
Good evening to
Ambassador
you.
Mary.
哎，大使，早上好。
早上，晚上好，大使。怎么样？你
Dashir.
的
Wang
你的
Shang hao.
牙好了吗？牙疼好了吗？
稍微有点好了吧，是有点酸，还可以吧。
希望你快点好起来。
行，谢谢。Senator Brathwaite, sir.
Good morning.
How goes it?
How are you, Ambassador?
Beijing is seeing some difficult times right now, but we're keeping our head above water, you know.
I was talking about you just yesterday.
Good things, I hope.
Of course. Met a colleague of yours at the Garris at the Kensington yesterday.
Oh, okay. Yes, no, the government is, I would say they're managing the current outbreak quite well. There's adequate testing and there's systematic testing going on currently. We're testing every other day. The movement of people from, gathering and stuff like that is rather limited right now. So most of the cases we're seeing uprising are happening in places which have already been identified as potential hot zones. So hopefully we're able to contain this and we can get back to some sense of normalcy in May.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. Senator Brathwaite. Good
morning.
morning. How are you?
I am very well, thank you. And you?
Not as good as you, apparently.
Is that Felicia?
You remembered my voice?
But of course, how could I ever forget? When you always tell me you don't have money, I always remember.
Well, you're in the
Don't despair, Senator. That is the role of the finance people. They're all descendants of the Ark, you know.
And Felicia had it dug back.
Their favorite word is no.
Good to see you, Felicia, when you come into Barbados.
When I can get back into China, I can leave.
Okay.
I can leave, but you
That's
know,
right.
I would have to pull on some strings, you know. Guanxi, I suppose if I join this meeting, I would be able to pick some guanxi so they can help me get back in when I'm ready.
I don't want to upset the ambassador, but we have room here for you if you did not get back in.
For all of the achievements in manufacturing here in China, we have not yet been able to make another Felicia. We will politely decline any such advancements there.
That was not an offer.
All right, really, I'm looking through the names. So Renee, I think we have the key people now here. Are we missing anyone?
Not that I can see.
Did Mr. Stefan, is he clocked in?
I don't see him here.
Don't see him there. He did say to me that he was ready. So it's now 9:08. Let's give it 2 minutes more and then because we have to start. Okay.
Yes, please.
All right. Thanks. Yeah. Stefan will. I see Mr. Liu from the main faculty, teacher of the minor in Chinese. He's joined now.
Morning.
叶老师好。嗨，大家早上好，晚上好。
晚上好。
Mr. Leo, 早上好。
早上好，大师。叶大师早上好。
早上好。
早上好，刘老师。
大家聊得好开心啊。
Also, Miss Hines from the principal's office is there.
你好，雪静。
早上好。Hello, Grace.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Good morning.
Could I ask everyone to mute their mics at this time?
Beg your pardon? I didn't hear you.
Mute your mics, please.
Do that again. My dog has started to act up.
Oh, well, it's you then that I need to mute your mic so we're not getting
I need to mute my mic. Sorry. Yes.
Hi, Renee.
Yes, please. Yes, Grace? Okay, good morning. Can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
Good.
Yes, I can hear you.
It is now 10 minutes after 9 and we will commence our program for today. Professor Winston Moore, Deputy Principal, University of the West Indies, Cape Hill Campus of Barbados. His Excellency Ambassador Yan Xiusheng, Ambassador of China to Barbados. His Excellency Ambassador Hallam Henry, current Ambassador of Barbados to China. Dr. Dila Worrell, President of the Association of Barbados-China Friendship. Senator Dr. Charleston Baffert, Vice President of the Association of Barbados-China Friendship. Confucius co-directors, Mr. Bubuli and Dr. Lee. Dr. Song Chimbao, former co-director of the Confucius Institute of Barbados. Teachers and distinguished guests, welcome. In honor of the 45th anniversary of Barbados-China relations, today the Confucius Institute of Barbados presents A Journey of 1,000 Miles starts with a single step. 千里之行始于足下. Tales of the teaching of Chinese language and culture in Barbados. Today's session provides a collection of first-hand accounts by persons engaging in teaching and studying Chinese language and culture over the years. Now, when you think of a journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step, you usually associate it with a major task or a life-altering event, something that is daunting or insurmountable that you are undertaking. In April 2015, the Confucius Institute in Barbados took a single step and began a journey of cooperation and friendship, building bridges between Barbados and Chinese peoples and cultures, much like what was done 45 years ago when Barbados and China began diplomatic relations. This saying or proverb does not only apply to major events, it speaks to making a choice in life and acting on it. Today, we will hear from a panel of featured presenters who have all made a choice to continue the Barbados Friendship-China relationship, whether through teaching or diplomatic relations. On this note, I would like to invite the Barbados co-director of the Confucius Institute, Mr. David Bubulia, to give the welcome remarks.
Good morning, one. Good morning, all. And thank you for joining us here as the Confucius Institute joins with the Embassy, the Government of Barbados in celebrating the establishment of relations between Barbados and the People's Republic of China via this presentation. Our outstanding teacher, Mrs. Renee Boyce-Drakes, has already said much of what I had intended to say. She has recognized the presence of the important personalities who are here this morning participating in this event with us. I would also like to add that we have Ms. Carrie-Ann Haynes-Knight and Ms. Sanielle Hines of the Office of the Principal, who are backing up Professor Winston Moore, who is in fact substituting for the principal today. I'd also like to recognize the presence of Tricia King of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade. I would also like to recognize, I can't recognize everybody, but some of our long-standing friends of the Confucius Institute, like Sean and Zan McDowell, and flipping through the names here to see who else. Miss April, one of our teachers, a person who is very well known in Barbados because she made a name for herself in Barbados and in a good way. We are here, as I mentioned, to celebrate this establishment of relations. And we at the Confucius Institute, in consultation with the embassy, thought that the appropriate way to do that is to give some overview, some look back about what we have been doing, but to do it in a new way, not just a repeat of the history of what we have been doing, but that is also very important, but to give it a kind of a personal touch, a more first-hand touch, by hearing from the teachers and hearing from the students and hearing from some of the people who were both students and then became teachers of Chinese language and culture in Barbados, their own very personal experiences of teaching Chinese. And one of the things that we, I wouldn't say inadvertently, probably for a more structural reason, did not include fully in our presentation today, because we focus on the work of the University of West Indies Cave Hill campus in teaching Chinese. But in fact, the teaching of Chinese in Barbados goes back beyond or before the teaching in the faculty, and it goes back before the establishment of the Confucius Institute. In fact, I was reminded by one of our teachers, Miss Victoria Miller, that as far back as 1993, a conversational Chinese course was started at the Barbados Language Center at the Barbados Community College. And that catered to a number of persons, including those from the Barbados Investment and Development Corporation. And it continued for a while. And in fact, they were able to pay an educational visit to China in 2007. In a sense, history is almost repeating itself, because we now at the Confucius Institute have reestablished a relationship with the Barbados Language Center at the Barbados Community College. And we have started teaching Chinese language and culture from this year. And we are looking to continue that and also to expand the program. So stay with us today. I'm going to be brief and stop at this point. You're in for a very exciting and very insightful set of presentations from persons who are on the front line, in a sense, in learning and teaching Chinese language and culture. So without further ado, I will hand the floor back over to our Mistress of Ceremonies, Ms. Renee, to continue the rest of the program. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Bubuya, for your words of appreciation and welcome. Next, we would like to invite Professor Winston Moore, Deputy Principal of the University of the West Indies KFL campus, to provide some more remarks on behalf of the campus.
Thank you very much, Chair. His Excellency Ambassador Yan Shu-sheng, His Excellency Ambassador Hallam Henry, Senator Dr. Charleston Bradford, Vice President of the Association of the Barbados-China Friendship, Trisha King, Senior Foreign Service Officer, Confucius Institute Co-Directors, Mr. Bubulia and Dr. Lee, as well as Dr. Song, former Co-Director of the Confucius Institute, teachers, as well as distinguished guests. Good morning, all. I bring you greetings on behalf of the Principal of the University of the West Indies KFL campus, Professor Clive Landis, who unfortunately, much as he would have liked to be here, cannot be here this morning because of a prior university commitment. It's my pleasure to deliver remarks, however, on his behalf. As the Confucius Institute joins in celebrating the 45th anniversary of the establishment of relations between Barbados and the People's Republic of China through the presentation of first-hand accounts entitled "A Journey of 1,000 Miles Starts from a Single Step, Tales of the Teaching of Chinese Language and Culture in Barbados." This is an opportune time to note that we are weeks away from the start of celebrations to mark the 70th anniversary of the establishment of the China University of Political Science and Law, our highly supportive and much respected partner in the Confucius Institute. The establishment of Confucius Institute at the University of the West Indies KFL campus on April 20th, 2015 reflects the leadership decision that internationalization was essential for the campus to remain relevant to its community and keep the campus aligned with the goals and objective of its host country, Barbados, to deepen and expand cooperation with China. From the outset, the Confucius Institute was charged with multiple objectives: expanding Chinese language teaching on campus, equipping a whole generation of students with the skills and knowledge to pursue opportunities in China, as well as supporting the efforts of Barbados and the region in deepening relations with China. Against this backdrop, the further inclusion of Chinese language and culture in a mix of competencies offered by the KFL campus was a way to take advantage of the opportunities emerging from China. This came about at the same time that China's globalization efforts, in particular its Belt and Road Initiative and its push for international ties, was strong. The decision received the enthusiastic support of the Embassy of China on behalf of the government of China. Views coalesced around the 2010 consensus that it would be a logical next step in building on the existing Barbados-China MOU, under which China had previously provided KFL with a lecturer in Chinese. Added to this, officials at Barbados, at both the Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, provided critical support. When the proposal reached the office of the Prime Minister, it very quickly became part of the bilateral agenda when the Prime Minister of the day, the Right Honorable Frundell Stewart, met with the Chinese leader, President Xi Jinping, in Trinidad and Tobago in June of 2013 and later in Beijing. While finding funds to provide office space for the Confucius Institute was initially a challenge, this was partially resolved when the KFL campus committed to construct a building whose design featured very distinct Chinese characteristics in which to provide space for the Confucius Institute. Today, there is ample testimony to the fact that the Confucius Institute has been more than successful in achieving the goals of the UWI, Barbados, and the region. This is borne out in a number of persons who have gone to China for education, technical cooperation, business, and the like, and the fact that Mandarin has been accepted by the regional examination body the Caribbean Examinations Council for inclusion in its curricula. Since the establishment of the Confucius Institute has counted several firsts, among these hosting the first regional Confucius Institute conference in the Caribbean in 2016, the very next year earning the Confucius Institute of the Year award, an exceptional achievement for such a young organization, and becoming the first test center for the HSK Chinese Fluency Test in the Eastern Caribbean region. The Confucius Institute currently holds an average of 2 HSK tests every year, the last online on Saturday, April 23rd, 2022, providing a Chinese proficiency test for an average of some 25 candidates, including several from our counterpart Confucius Institute in Antigua and Barbuda. Each year, the Confucius Institute hosts an orientation program for students who have received scholarships from the government of China to pursue undergraduate or graduate programs. In so doing, the Confucius Institute provides students with a taste of Mandarin and Chinese culture and much guidance from contacts with past students and native Chinese to make their transition to life in China a lot easier. It's notable that the teaching of Chinese at the KFIL campus did not start with the Confucius Institute, and Mr. Bubulia would have mentioned this earlier. From 2013, experienced Chinese teachers were sent to Barbados to the Faculty of Humanities and Education, something that the dean likes to brag about. Since that time, 4 Chinese teachers, among them Dr. Zhu Bo, who is one of the speakers today, have been assigned to the job. Their work has gained traction to the point where the Faculty of Humanities and Education established a minor in Chinese from 2018. Since the establishment of the Confucius Institute, it has offered Chinese courses to both the university community and the wider Barbados community. My daughter, for example, would have taken Chinese at her primary school. The Confucius Institute teaches Mandarin and Chinese culture to second-year students enrolled in the UWI flagship software engineering program offered in cooperation with the Global Institute of Software Technology in Suzhou, China, before their studies and internship are pursued in China. Last year, online from 2020, however. Several students shared their stories during the recently held KFIL Private Sector Forum on March 31st, 2022. The Confucius Institute also offers co-curricular courses entitled Introduction to Chinese Culture to students enrolled at the KFIL campus. In addition, it offers evening classes at several levels to these students and others from the wider society who wish to improve their Mandarin. We must not forget the startup role played by the Confucius Institute in teaching Mandarin at 2 of our neighborhood schools, the St. Stephen's Primary School and the Ellerslie School, and from 2018 at the Charles F. Broome Primary School. It is to be noted that the Charles F. Broome Primary School has formed a sister school relationship with Changsha Luxia International Experimental Primary School in Hunan Province, China. They are communicating via pen pal letters and conversations and cooperative musical presentations of Chinese songs. It's notable that the COVID-19 pandemic, or Confucius Institute, in line with the campus overall, quickly adapted to online teaching, and its programs expanded rather than contracting during this difficult period. It was in fact in late 2020 that the Confucius Institute joined with the National Library of Barbados to offer free Chinese classes to the public, a program which has thus far been very well received. Turning to the cultural activities, the Confucius Institute presents Chinese culture through several initiatives, such as the annual Chinese Bridge competition, participation with the Central Bank of Barbados and the Embassy of China and other related entities in the Fish and Dragon Festival, the United Nations Chinese Language Day, Confucius Institute Day, and its bi-monthly Confucius Institute Culture Clubs, which includes several iterations of China in My Eyes, along with Chinese Corner with special presentations in Peking opera and traditional Chinese medicine. One of our newest branded events, the well-loved One Person, One Dish Chinese and regional cooking sessions, continue to attract strong public attention. Such presentations and demonstrations have contributed immeasurably to the cultural exchanges between the 2 countries. The Confucius Institute has also actively supported the hosting of several seminars in relation to the Belt and Road Initiative and the development of the Caribbean region by the Sir Arthur Lewis Institute of Social and Economic Studies, and exploring new horizons in Caribbean-China trade and investment relations with the China-Caribbean Trade Symposium by the Sridhar Ramphal Center for International Trade, Law, Policy, and Services, which have both played significant roles in promoting in-depth academic exchanges between the two countries and regional scholars. It is notable also that the KFO campus and CUPL have established a new course as they have deepened cooperation. One course entitled Introduction to Chinese Law and Institution have been successfully delivered by a scholar from China online to students here at the KFO campus in the Faculty of Law, and a new course, Introduction to Chinese Trade and Investment Law and Policy, will be launched this year in May by another scholar from CUPL in partnership with the Sridhar Ramphal Center. Another course, Commonwealth Caribbean Law and Legal Systems, has also been approved by the CUPL, and it is expected to be taught online this September by a lecturer from the KFO campus to students at the CUPL. The KFO Faculty of Humanities and Education and the CUPL School of Humanities are also cooperating to carry out relevant academic exchanges and cooperation. So stay tuned as a new initiative is in the making. The KFO campus, medical and the medical university signed a memorandum of understanding in 2021, and the Confucius Institute serving as a veritable bridge for this cooperation in the medical teaching between the two countries. The annual China-Barbados College Student Moot Court Competition has also been held since 2017, and other gaps in 2020 and 2021. We look forward to its next edition in May this year. The exchanges between students in law is gradually opening horizons that will undoubtedly expose them to a more robust vision of their future. The Confucius Institute is also providing professional consulting support to the CXC in the development of the Mandarin curricula for the Caribbean Certificate of Secondary School Competence. The KFO campus looks forward to implementing the syllabus and associated exams. The Confucius Institute, therefore, remains a valuable part of the KFO campus community and a vital part of its thrust to be an excellent global university rooted in the Caribbean. Going forward, we continue to count on the support of our partners, the CUPL, the Government of China, and the Government of Barbados in fulfilling our mission. I thank you.
Thank you, Professor Moore, for your kind words, and we look forward to further building on all of those relationships that you had mentioned. We now invite Ambassador His Excellency Yan Shushang to give his remarks on behalf of the Embassy of the People's Republic of China to Barbados.
Thank you, Renee. Professor Winston Moore, Deputy Principal, West Indies University, Cape Hill campus. His Excellency Harlan Harry, Ambassador of Barbados to the People's Republic of China. Senator Charleston, former Ambassador to the People's Republic of China. Mr. David Babulia, co-director of the Confucius Institute, Cape Hill campus. Co-director, Professor Li Renyan, Confucius Institute of Cape Hill campus. Professor Paul Sun, Dr. Paul Sun, Professor Liu, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It It is my great pleasure to gather with you with the Confucius Institute and our friends via video link to celebrate the 45th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations between China and Barbados. Today's theme is a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Since the establishment of diplomatic relations 45 years ago, the friendship between the peoples of the two countries has grown increasingly profound step by step through the joint efforts of both sides. In particular, the people-to-people exchanges between the two countries have played an important role in enhancing China and Barbados' understanding of each other's culture, civilization, and social system. I'd like to take this opportunity to express my sincere gratitude to the previous directors and all teachers of the Confucius Institute, including local and foreign volunteers. I would also like to thank the Barbados government and the University of the West Indies Cave Hill campus for their strong support for the work of the Confucius Institute. I would also like to extend my gratitude to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade of Barbados and the Ministry of Education. The Confucius Institute at the University of West Indies Cave Hill campus has made significant contributions and efforts in this regard. 14 years ago, the University of the West Indies Cave Hill campus proposed to set up a Confucius Institute at the university. In 2011, the Ministries of Education of China and Barbados signed a memorandum of cooperation to explore the feasibility of Chinese language teaching in Barbados. This resulted in Chinese teachers being sent to the University of West Indies Cave Hill campus to teach Chinese language. The establishment of Chinese courses in Barbados has stimulated the interest of Barbadians towards China and Chinese culture. In 2013, President Xi Jinping met with then Prime Minister of Barbados in Trinidad and Tobago, and the two leaders agreed to speed up the process of building Confucius Institute in Cave Hill campus. Under the personal care of the leaders of China and Barbados, the UWI Cave Hill campus signed agreement with the relevant authorities of China in 2014 to set up Confucius at the Cave Hill campus. In 2015, the Confucius Institute in the University of the West Indies Cave Hill campus was officially opened. Over the past few years, the Confucius Institute at Cave Hill campus has on average provided Chinese language teaching and training to more than 2,000 people from all walks of life in Barbados every year. It has held several Chinese proficiency competitions for Barbadian college, middle school, and primary school students. And the first Chinese proficiency test center in the Caribbean region, it has provided proficiency tests for more than 200 students. Thanks to efforts of the Confucius Institute at Cave Hill campus, the first joining meeting of Confucius institutes in the Caribbean region was successfully held in Barbados. the Caribbean Examination Council included Chinese as the optional foreign language course for secondary schools in the Caribbean region and took the lead in launching pilot teaching in Barbados. The popularity of Chinese in the Caribbean region has been further expanded, and enthusiasm of the Caribbean people to learn Chinese language continues to grow. Since the epidemic, the Confucius Institute at Cave Hill campus has made great efforts to overcome various difficulties and insist on conducting Chinese language teaching through distance learning. In addition, the Confucius Institute has also held a large number of online and offline cultural activities, allowing more Barbadians to understand Chinese food, culture, Tai Chi, traditional Chinese medicine, etc. Dear friends, China granted governmental scholarship to Barbados, and nearly 100 Barbadian youth have been sent to China to pursuit of higher education. The cooperation project between UWI and Chinese Suzhou Software Engineering University has made steady progress. More and more Barbadians and even Caribbean youth came to China for education, exchange, and internship. Moreover, Broome Primary School here in Barbados and Lusan Primary School in China forged friendship and partnership. The kids from the two schools interacted with each other through letters, internet, and cultural entertainment. Friendship, which derives from close contact between the peoples, holds the key to sound state-to-state relations. People-to-people exchange will promote people-to-people bond and therefore advance the development of China-Barbados relations continuously. Just yesterday evening, the foreign minister of China and the Caribbean countries with having diplomatic relations with China held a virtual meeting. The participants comprehensively reviewed the achievements in China-Caribbean diplomatic relations over the past 50 years, since the inception of the ties, focusing on the implementation of the UN 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development and envisioning bilateral and multilateral cooperation in the post-COVID era. The participants conducted in-depth exchanges of views and reached extensive consensus on advancing the building of an even stronger China-Caribbean community with a shared future. The participants agreed that facing a once-in-a-century pandemic and the world going through changes and turmoil, it is imperative to keep to peace and development as the theme of the times, firmly uphold the authority and sanctity of the United Nations, jointly pursue true multilateralism, improve the global security governance system, and promote a robust recovery of the world economy. The participants agreed on the importance to place the issue of development at the center of the global cooperation agenda and called on the international community to heed the hardships of developing countries and make joint actions to speed up the implementation of the UN 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. The Caribbean side welcomed China's Global Development Initiative and Global Security Initiative and expressed readiness to work with the Chinese side to safeguard world peace, security, and prosperity. The participants shared the view that with China-Caribbean relations at the important historical stage, the two sides need to carry forward the valuable experience accumulated over the past 50 years, continue to enhance high-level exchanges, maintaining strategic communication, strengthening political mutual trust, and jointly draw the blueprint for China-Caribbean relations. China firmly supports Caribbean countries in seeking strength through unity and playing a bigger role in international affairs, and will work to make China-Caribbean relations a paradigm for the new type of international relations, and together with Caribbean countries, build an even stronger China-Caribbean community with a shared future. The participants aiming for post-COVID economic recovery agreed to further enhance practical cooperation in such areas as economy and trade, investment and financing, infrastructure development, transportation and communications, agriculture and fishery, disaster prevention and mitigation, and the digital economy, and will promote high-quality Belt and Road cooperation. China-Caribbean countries will deepen COVID response cooperation and jointly build a global community of health for all. China understands Caribbean countries' special situation and concerns in tackling climate change and stands ready to provide support and assistance where it can. Work with the Caribbean countries to promote the full and effective implementation of the Paris Agreement and build a global climate governance system. The participants expressed their readiness to enhance exchanges and cooperation in such areas as education, culture, tourism, sports, and press, and deepen traditional friendship. China supports its localities to continue exchange and cooperation with Caribbean countries in various forms, and expressed its readiness to work with Caribbean countries to build the China-Caribbean Development Center. China announced it will continue to provide government scholarships and human resource training opportunities to various types of Caribbean countries, which Caribbean countries applauded and appreciated. The participants all agreed that over the past 50 years, particularly since President Xi Jinping's visit to the Caribbean in 2013, the China-Caribbean Comprehensive Cooperative Partnership has deepened. Cooperation has been fruitful across the board, and the two sides have set an example of mutual respect, equality, mutual benefit, and common development in state-to-state relations. The participants agreed that by celebrating the 50th year of diplomatic relations, they should work together to the Chinese-Caribbean relations to new heights. I briefed this to all of you to let you know the current relationship between China and Caribbean countries. For this meeting, virtual meeting last night, Ms. Tricia King, Director of the Asia, Africa, European Affairs of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade of Barbados, contributed a lot to the successful holding of that meeting. Thank you, Tricia. I use this opportunity to give you a big thanks to you.
Thank you, Ambassador.
Thank you. Thank you, Zuni.
Thank you, Ambassador Yan, for your kind remarks, and we look forward to deepening our working relationship with the Embassy of the People's Republic of China to Barbados in the future. We are also joined today by His Excellency Ambassador Halm Henry, current Ambassador of Barbados to China, and we welcome his remarks.
Thank you, Ms. Boyce. Ambassador Yan Xiusheng, Senator Dr. Charleston Barfoot, Professor Winston Moore, Deputy Principal, Co-Directors Lee and Bubulia, ladies and gentlemen, 早上好, good morning. Let me first thank our friends from the Confucius Institute for inviting me not only to attend, but also have the pleasure of speaking at this momentous occasion. I greet you today as we celebrate the 45th anniversary of the establishment of relations between Barbados and the People's Republic of China. As we explore the varied experiences of our featured speakers, I would like to briefly speak to the value of learning Chinese language and culture as we commemorate this significant milestone. From my own experience, navigating the intricacies of China and the Chinese people is an exciting and fulfilling journey. With regards to the language, perhaps its most fascinating feature is its numerous spoken and written forms. Despite my attaining a relatively high level of fluency in Mandarin, I have in my journeys throughout China encountered several dialects which were quite difficult to understand. Similarly, Chinese characters have gone through numerous iterations with both simplified and traditional characters utilized today. As you learn more about China, you'll be equipped with a greater understanding of the concepts of family, community, traditions, and business in the functioning of the Chinese society and their culture. I urge you to continue this enlightenment throughout your time at the Institute. The bilateral relationship between Barbados and China has been largely beneficial to many young people in Barbados. Despite the recent challenges with pursuing face-to-face tertiary studies, China continues to provide Barbados with a number of scholarships to ensure that we continue to educate the next generation. Over the years, many of these students have gone on to become successful entrepreneurs, academics, and professionals. In addition, collaboration in education is ongoing between the UWI-CH campus and the China Institute for Information and Technology. Students are pursuing dual degree in software engineering with 2 years in Barbados and 2 at the Institute in Suzhou. Discussions concerning future prospects for collaboration with other high-level education institutions, including the famed Tsinghua University, are ongoing. Here at the Embassy in Beijing, we remain focused and committed to strengthening the relationship between our two countries through expanding people-to-people exchanges, exploring commercial opportunities, and elevating Barbados's profile in China and in the eyes of the Chinese people. In closing, I wish to thank the organizers and express my hope for a successful and engaging event. 谢谢。
Yes, Ambassador. We'd like to thank Ambassador Henry not only for his remarks, but also for sharing his experience of Chinese language and culture. With respect to time difference in China, we would like to now invite all attendees to open their cameras and allow us to have a photo to commemorate this event, because we know Ambassador probably would like to get an early night's rest. Grace, you're going to take the photo?
Yeah, yes, maybe sharing 屏幕分享屏幕可以停止一下。
Yeah.
Yeah, 可以吗？ Yeah. Thank you, everybody.
1、2、3。
Yeah, please.
Okay, everybody, please keep your 大使，请您开一下摄像头，我们来一个集体的合照。那边没有走，但是他摄像头关掉了。
One, two, three. Another page. There. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. What you don't know about this event is that we have 3 hosts. Myself, Renee Boy Straits, as you can see. We also have...
Okay, Renee, please go ahead.
We have, for our 3 hosts today, we have myself, Renee Boy Straits. We have Mr. Guoxing, or Ian, and we also have Mr. Tyrone Dearwood. Now, before we get into the meat of the matter, I just want to say that, as you can see, the relations between Barbados and China have made the journey of the past 45 years a fruitful and respectful one. And some of the fruits of this journey will be presented today by our featured presenters who come from a range of backgrounds, each with their own story to tell of their journey of Barbados-China relations. Here, I now invite Ian to start the proceedings.
Okay, thanks. So our first presenter is Mr. Xu Bo, who has been a lecturer in Chinese at Cave Hill campus from 2014 to 2016. Mr. Xu Bo has a Master of Arts, Master of Teaching Chinese to speakers of other languages. From 2014 to 2016, he was assigned by the former National Confucius Office to the University of the West Indies, Cave Hill campus, where he served as a Chinese language teacher. He is currently teaching at the Hubei Huanggang Teachers College, where he is mainly engaged in English teaching of computer-assisted language teaching, computer-assisted translation, English and American literature, audio-visual, and other courses for undergraduate majors. He also conducted a comprehensive Chinese course and audio-visual teaching for international students. Before Mr. Xu Bo starts his speech, I'd like to invite Stefan, one of his excellent students, to share us the memory between him and his Chinese teacher. So welcome, Stefan.
Good morning. Good morning. I was not sure if which language I am to do the introduction in, so I did it in both. I hope you don't mind. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am Stefan, and most of you know me as one who is proficient in Mandarin. Some of you know me as the Chinese teacher from the Confucius Institute. Others of you know me as a Mandarin student in Beijing, China. When I think about my story, there is one man that stands at the beginning. That man, the man I have the pleasure of introducing to you today, is none other than Xu Bo Lao Shi, otherwise known as Davy. He was the one that taught Mandarin to me and many others from 2013 when I came to Cave Hill. With incredible patience, he put up with us and helped us to learn what was considered to be the toughest language in the world. From his class of 5, 4 of us went on to study in China, and 2 of us became Chinese teachers ourselves. I would always remember our classes fondly, especially when he was teaching us the 3rd tone. It's not a roundabout. Barbados has enough roundabouts already, he would say. After UE, the feeling of uselessness stalked me, as it does many others. I received a phone call after not qualifying at first for the Chinese government scholarship, telling me that I had come highly recommended to work at the Chinese embassy. I know that this recommendation came from none other than Xu Bo Lao Shi. Working there, I was able to build up relationships with my colleagues, and after 2 years, I got the scholarship to go to China and obtain my degree in Chinese language. thinking about the lives that I've touched in China, the friends that I've made, and the adventures I've had, not to mention the dozens of students which I've had the pleasure of teaching over the months at the Confucius Institute, it was all made possible by the love, patience, and encouragement of the man I'm introducing today. 教师不仅是知识的传播者，而是模仿。Ladies and gentlemen, 徐波老师。
Can take the floor. Teacher, you can take the floor and begin. Teacher Shubo, you can begin.
Yes, okay. Okay. So, dear Deputy Principal, Professor Winston Moore, Your Excellency Ambassador Helen Henry, Your Excellency Ambassador Yan Xiusheng, Senator Dr. Braswick, Mr. Burbelia, Dr. Li Renyan, Dr. Song Jinbao, my fellow colleagues, our friends, students, ladies and gentlemen, good morning and good evening. Okay. 早上好，晚上好. So it's really a surprise for me actually. So and actually, you know, I have prepared a speech. By the way, also for this time I would not to well, so just go directly to my prepared speech. Okay, so and yes, you will. So the CI at Keep Hill really give me a big surprise. I think well, so that is the first time for me to meet Stefan, to meet Luo Sifan after we say goodbye to each other several years ago. Okay, so, and though we have got some conversation or something else, we also via WeChat, but we also this is the first time we have got the face-to-face. I mean the face-to-face. We also via the web. Okay. So just to go directly, we also go back to the some questions. Yes. So I think also that is also in the year 20. That is the year, yes, 2007. We also I just pick up my second master. So that is just now you have mentioned the master in master of teaching Chinese to speakers of other languages. Yes, and then we also the next year, the following year, that is in 2008. We started with our teaching practice, and so that is the first initial stage. I get in touch with teaching Chinese to other speakers. I mean to non-native speakers. Okay, so and then. That is, I have got the chance. So in the year 2013, I have been to Barbados to teach there for 2 years, and also later, when our university has had some relationship with Russia, and then we have got some Russian students, and then we have online course due to the epidemic for recent years. So that is actually almost so. If we count days, almost I have taught Chinese for almost 15 years, right? So actually, at the very beginning, I think also it's really cool to teach foreigners Chinese. Okay, so and also but later when I was admitted to the program, I mean the master program of teaching Chinese to speakers of other language, I found that so there are so many misunderstandings of this career, because our Chinese people usually always think, I'm a native speaker, I can speak Chinese, and definitely I could teach Chinese. That is a real misunderstanding. But so you need to get some training, then you could be qualified enough to be a teacher. So that is this. And also, I think so to teach Chinese to other speakers, and that is really a good career. And you could not only know your culture, but also the culture from your students, a different different cultural background. For example, we also actually, so before I was assigned to go to Barbados. I even don't know where Barbados is, but we also later I got okay Barbados, the Beijing, right? Is we also in China we have got the Beijing, we also Barbados, it is Beijing, right? So that is really cool for that. Okay, and also just Stephen talked about the roundabout. Yes, okay, and also in class we have talked about we also. In Barbados, we have got only 2 signs for the bus stop. That is out of city and to city. So that is really, really like give me a different experience of Wales of the foreign culture. So that is the different culture usually will make you think much or even more of why we have got so many colorful cultures and splendid cultures. So that is the mingling of different culture that is really will encourage you to carry out your career well. So that is teaching Chinese, not only the language, but also the culture, So I think that is the objectives for teaching Chinese. Well, so first to get foreigners to know, to understand China, definitely the language, the people, right? And also you will like the foreigners to know the past, well, so the splendid past of China, and also you could have a look at what the present China is. So that is this, and also if a foreigner can learn some Chinese or can acquire, the language, well, so then they could experience by themselves. So I think, well, so that is really cool things for foreigners. Well, so still, I remember that, well, so I always came across a video which is taped by the foreigners. Well, so they are in China, they are in Beijing, and well, so they talk about the different things, different aspects of China. Also, that is really good. Okay, so next I would like to talk about some flashbacks. Well, so when I'm in Barbados, right? So, and I have a group. I have a group excellent students, right? So they are really keen on learning Chinese. So in Stefan's class, I always use, for example, 比如说妈妈说怎么样 okay, and we also Stefan will imitate my 妈妈说什么什么什么 okay, so that is this one. And also I still remember that is one thing that is well, so when we're preparing for the UWI Theatre Festival, that is well, so UWI has got 3 physical campuses at that time. So that is well, the one in Jamaica and the other one that is in Trinidad and Tobago, and the one at Cape Hill, right? So when I'm there, when I was there, well, so we prepared a theatre festival, and also well, so it's really challenging for the second batch of students. At that time, Stefan was already graduated, and yes, Alexandria always already graduated. So, and we have got some other group like Stefan Ford and some other students. Okay, so and so those students, they just learning Chinese for just over around 1.5 months. So, but well, so they really gave a good performance, that is at the theatre festival, and also well, it was well, so the next day it was on which yes, on the paper, the newspaper. Yes, I still have got this one. So that is the, let me show you this one, this one, the Barbados Advocate. So that is well, I could just show you the really excellent students right here. So possibly you could say it, okay? So the really excellent, well, so that is their photo on the stage. That is their photo on the stage. So that is a really good thing for them to do the performance. And also they gave us a really classical one. So that is the butterfly lovers. Well, in Chinese we call it 梁祝, 梁祝. And also we also, the other one, it reminded me that is we also in comparison with Dr. Song Jinbao and also some other colleagues at CI, we have got the first competition, I mean the Chinese bridge competition, and we have sent we also one of the students to Hunan, Changsha, and we also to do the performance there. And also we also Stefan just talked about the scholarship. Yes, we also I think we also when I was there, so most of the scholarship are given to the students at UWI-CH here, right? So that is really good, such as Stefan, we also being admitted to Beijing Language University, right? BLCU, and also in Payne, Alexandria, so being admitted to CCNU, and blah blah things. Okay, and also there's some other things I still remember clearly. That is the first Fish Dragon Festival. That is so we have got some performance, and also we have got some showcasing of the Chinese culture and blah blah things. And also I still remember the colleagues at the UWI-CH here. So I mean the faculty and also the department of linguistics and literature, and also some other colleagues at the international office. So I'm really we also appreciate their help and assistance during my 2 years stays there. And also I think we still remember the Chinese community. So and we also though the Chinese people in Barbados is just as a minor community, but we also they just a really harmonious one, and we also they just stay together, and also they just help each other. And also when I was there, also I get a huge help from some other I mean the some other Chinese from the community. So yes, that's really good. And also although I left to see the UWI-CH here for almost so that is 7 years, it should be. Yes, almost 7 years. Yeah, almost 7 years. But still, I always I still keep an eye. Okay, I still keep an eye on the development of the not only the CI at CH here, but also all the faculty, especially the faculty of humanities and education, FHE, right? So that is I'm really glad to find we have the UWI-CH here has many connections with the China right now, and also we developed many programs, just as Ambassador Yin Xiusheng and also Ambassador Helen Henry talk about. Yes, that is really good for the two nations, and also especially good for the two peoples. I mean the Beijing and the people in the people in China. So I think I will just talk about this, and also still I will keep on watching. Okay, keep on watching the development of CI, and I hope CI will develop it into a really has a really prosperity. Prosperous future, and we also and the CI go further and deeper into the schools and the communities, and we also to set a solid bridge for the bilateral relationship between China and the Barbados. So and also the last but not least, I would like to I would like to take this opportunity to give my thanks to the co-director, Mr. Berbelia, and also the co-director, Dr. Li. And I really appreciate you give me this chance to meet the friends, the students, and also my former colleagues at UWI-CH here. I really appreciate this experience, and also I really enjoyed this chance to talk with you. And also I think at last I would like to have some pictures for you. Let me just have a look at. I could show you some pictures. Okay. Okay, so not okay. Possibly I could not display the pictures. Okay, so I actually, so that is several pictures. I have taken well in Barbados, and also we also at the embassy. I mean the Barbados embassy in Beijing. So okay, so let's just let me just wrap up my my speech. It could be a speech. Okay, so and well, so thank you everybody. Thank you. So I'm really appreciate this opportunity and the chance. Thank you all. Okay, so all the best.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Mr. Xu. Thanks for sharing the memory of teaching Chinese in Barbados. So our second presenter is Dr. Paul Song, who has been the co-director of CI from 2015 to 2019. Dr. Song Qingbao is presently an associate professor in the liberal arts faculty of the Chinese University of Politics and Law, Denmark's Copenhagen Business Confucius Institute Chinese professor between 2011 to 2013. He held the post of Confucius Institute Chinese co-director at the University of the West Indies, Cape Hill campus between 2015 to 2019. Dr. Song has published in excess of 10 articles in domestic scholarly journals. His area of research is public culture, visual media and law, literature and law. So welcome, Dr. Song.
Thank you. Ambassador, His Excellency Yan Xiusheng, Ambassador, His Excellency Helen Henry, Senator Dr. Brathwaite, Professor Winston Moore, Deputy Principal, co-directors, Mr. David Bobulia and Dr. Li Renyan, all my friends, good morning and good evening. My name is Song Qingbao. Okay, first I feel very happy and honored to participate in this forum. I think this gives me an opportunity to see all the friends, not only in Barbados, but also in China. My old friends I see from here, like Sean and Zan and also Floyd, all the friends, and also even because of the pandemic, even the friends in China, like I saw here, April and Kathy and even Shibo, we didn't see for a long time. So thank you very much for this opportunity. Because I couldn't show my PPT, so could you just give the next page? Next page, please. Yes, so this is the first picture you see. Oh, the first picture is the building there. You see, I returned to China in 2019, so I miss Barbados a lot. But from this picture, this is the cutting ceremony of the CI, the Confucius Institute. You know, at that time, when I first went to Barbados in 2015, the building is not there. So actually, we are looking forward very much to the new building. But at that time, our office is in the faculty or the humanities. But I think every coin has two sides. Like in that office, actually, because we meet friends every day. Like every day we went to the office, we can see all the friends there. We just say hi. Actually, that is good integration. Actually, in that even very small, but I think it's good memories for me in the faculty of the humanities. So my presentation has 3 keywords I would see. The first is fulfillment, and the next is the friendship, and the third is future. I call it 3 Fs. So the first is what we have done when we are working in Barbados. Please, next page. Yes, when I first arrived in Barbados in 2015, actually, I asked myself, and also a lot of friends asked me, what we will do, like the Confucius Institute will do in Barbados. Actually, we have no idea. So because we don't have, at the time, we don't know, we only have 1 volunteer teacher there. That's me, actually, we just have 2 persons. So we don't have students. But to surprise me, when we went to the schools, actually, you see from this paper, you can see that Chinese teaching flourishing in Barbados. And also, I think is for me, this is very happy when I went to the schools. I see the students, especially in the schools, they are so keen to learn Chinese. I remember there's students like they came to me and say, "Oh, could I touch your hair?" I said, "Yes, definitely." So they touch my hair, I touch their hair. So I think this is all good memories for me, even after so many long years. And also we have we have some developing in the CXC. Next page, please. Also, this is like go to the schools, and in some schools, I think we have some presentations there. You see Dr. Lee is there in the St. Stephen's, yes. So it's a lot of activities. Before we don't know what to do, actually, after just several months, we feel so busy, actually, so busy. And like there's so many activities. Then we have more teachers. And I think we have, like, at that time, they have 5 volunteer teachers and 2 teachers, 5 volunteers, 2 teachers, yes. So this is yes. And also, one thing I think before actually the pandemic, the good thing is that all the students actually, they can come to China to visit. I think for this is we call the summer camp. So I think from 2016, 17, and 18, every year we have around 20 students came to China. We can visit, like I remember is Beijing, like Shanghai and Suzhou. This is good, very good experience to learn about China. Not only I think for the Caribbean students to come to China, but also because they came to China like CUPL, they will give the presentation about the Caribbean culture. Actually, I think it is also for Chinese students, especially for the students actually in CUPL, in China University of Political Science and Law, and also for the university in Suzhou to know more about the Caribbean culture. You see, also the group also including some officials from the Ministry of Education and the CXC. Next page, please. Next page, yes, thank you. Yes, go to the Great Wall, thank you. Yes. Yes, no, could you go back to the Great Wall, like the Great Wall ones? Yes. The Great Wall ones. Before, yes. Okay. Yes, I think a lot of memories for me, like, because we generally is before the pandemic, this is really good actually, because we went to the Great Wall and also like in the Suzhou and the Shanghai, it's also good memories. You see all the happy faces there from all the students from not only from Barbados, actually from all the other countries in the Caribbean. So it's really good time. So it's really a pity about the pandemic. We couldn't, you see the summer camp, the travel is very difficult. Because Grace told me to tell some stories, a lot of stories, too many stories that I can remember, even after several years. But one story for me, very clear, is about the map. Next page. Next page, please. Sorry, because I couldn't share the PPT here by the Zoom. It's about the map, because the student asked me why the map in China is like this way. I think could you show me the next page? Yes, the next page, please. Yes. Okay. Yes. No. The before one, the former ones. The former ones. Yes. Yes. They think generally in China the map is like this. Generally is like they say, oh, this map is wrong, because generally the map is not like Asia or China, like is in the yes. This is the right map. Europe should be in the center, or sometimes maybe like the North America is in the center. So they feel very surprised to see the map is like this. For me, I think is okay. Go to the next page. Next page, please. Next page. Yes, yes. So the map is okay. This is the question actually led me to rethink about the map. Like oh, the center, whether the center actually is a very is not. So because the map is round, so sometimes if you from a different angle, actually you can have different ideas. For me, like the culture exchange, if you have more culture exchange, you can understand to have more understanding. I think this is the meaning for the people-to-people exchange. To yes, just like Renee said, this is a different point of view. This is one story. Actually, a lot of stories for the summer camp. Okay, next page. Yes. So that's the reason I think it's really good. A lot of activities like for the Chinese students. This is for the Chinese students from CUPO can go to the Barbados to have the moot court competition. And also next page is to show this is 2017. And also next page is like the moot competition, the Caribbean China International Moot Competition is, yes. So this kind of exchange is very important. For me, I learned a lot. I think I really learned a lot from my experience in Barbados. One thing about just one story is about the 5K. You can see here the 5K, the 5K in the UEQ Hill campus. I remember the first time I participate, I just stand in the front because I don't know the front should run because I never ran before actually. And everybody is running. I think I met like Principal Unibarto is there, Principal Cloudland is there. I will just say hi. I said, oh, if they are running, I said I must finish actually. Before I never ran even 1K. So the first time I think I finished my 5K there. From that time, actually, I fall in love with running. And gradually, when I came to China, I ran not only 5K and 10K. So I finished my marathon. And now is actually, this is a start from Barbados. So my future, I think is one of my dreams is I can run around the world. If one day, if I can go back to Barbados to run, I know there's a marathon there. If I can go back to Barbados to run, and I go to New York, like Francois is there, and if I go to London to run after the pandemic, that is a wonderful thing. This is one of my dreams. Okay, next page. Next, yes. One good thing I would like to share with my friends there is I would conclude my son. His name is Lucky. Is Yun. We call it is Lisa and I. We feel so lucky to work in Barbados, to have so many friends there. Everybody I see, so many friends there, the friendship. So I would conclude with this picture because I think lucky is both for China and for Barbados. Okay, I thank you very much. This is my presentation. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Okay, thanks. Thanks very much. Thanks for your efforts to the CI. And our third presenter is Samuel Sawyer. Samuel Sawyer is an instructor in the academic interest program at the UWI-CH Hill campus. He described himself as a lifelong lover of literature. He has twice taught the prose and poetry module in COCR 2045, Introduction to Chinese Culture, where he hopes to help students appreciate both Chinese and Caribbean literature. He said that from the time I saw martial arts movies in the 1970s, I have been fascinated by Chinese martial arts. Over the years, I have been a student of Wing Chun and Tai Chi, and I share what I have learned with all who are interested. With Dr. Li Renyan, co-director of CI UWI-CH Hill campus, he has recently started the Blue Dragon Martial Arts Club to share Chinese martial arts with those who wish to learn. All kinds of things build bonds between people. For Mr. Sawyer, literature and martial arts do that. One day he hopes to work amidst the wonders of China's landscape and people. So welcome, Samuel Sawyer.
Morning, everyone. Please hold on while we sort out it. Yes, Eva, I want to share my screen, please.
那个郭老师可以停止分享一下屏幕。那个 Samuel 想要 share screen。
停止了。
Are you seeing my screen now? Okay.
Yes, please.
Greetings, everyone. I'd like to begin by putting a bit of historical context to my involvement with China. I'll start by saying that China knew me, in a manner of speaking, long before I knew China. I was born in 1961. And so I want to use as a title for this presentation, From Basins to Building Out Purchasers to Partnership. In the 1960s, China knew me before I knew China. Even before I went to school, which was at the age of 5 in 1966, China was already influencing me. And it is only yesterday, as I was finishing touches to this presentation, that I realized it. The pencils, the exercise books, the crayons that we use as students, all were made in China. Even the kitchen utensils and bath utensils, plastic bowls, forks, and spoons. So China was already influencing me before I had any conception that there was a country in the world called China. In the 1970s, this influence intensified because this was the era when the martial arts movies came to Barbados. And I've just jotted down some of the definitive names for that phase starting in the 1970s. Jimmy Wang Yu with sword fighting, endless movies promoting Shaolin across the world and into Barbados, thousands of miles away. Definitive movies that introduce a character called the Silver Fox, the legendary Jackie Chan, a successor Jet Li, and more recently, Donnie Yen. This was my second introduction, as it were, to China. At this point, I'm a secondary school student. And here are some images of definitive martial arts movies. In the top left-hand corner, you will see the Shaolin Temple, not the one starring Jet Li, but the original one. Then to the right, there is a poster from The Secret Rivals that introduced that character, the Silver Fox, on your right-hand side, the older man. And to the bottom left, John Liu, a master of kicking. Barbadians had never seen martial arts of this quality, this standard before. And young boys such as myself, and sometimes older men too, would walk around in the park, in the playing field, at school, pretending to be these different characters because of the power of the film industry, this extraordinary display of human physical accomplishment. Here is another definitive poster, one of those memorable movies that introduced Barbadians interested in the fighting arts to the concept of a drunken style. Now, Barbados claims to have the oldest rum manufacturing industry in the world in the form of Mount Gay. But it never occurred to us that one could be drunk, literally or metaphorically, and be an exceptional combatant. But Jackie Chan and this movie brought that to our attention. So now you will find that there are young people in Barbados, not old people like me with arthritis, who are able to execute this style of martial arts called the drunken style. More recently, we have a series of 4 movies climaxing in the final combat starring Donnie Yen and promoting the accomplishments of the legendary Chinese martial artist Ip Man, who was a teacher of Bruce Lee, who really was the person who single-handedly, if you could identify one person as having the greatest impact on martial arts across the globe, would have been Bruce Lee in the 1970s. Here we see Ip Man performing Tang So and Wu So against the wooden dummy. If we continue now, we come to a more recent period of the 80s, a definitive martial arts movie, not only because of the quality of the story, the quality of the acting and the cast, but the way in which the special effects were used, Jet Li's Hero. And this movie is important because, like many of its predecessors, it gave the Western world, including Barbados, a particular conception of Chinese culture and values. The notion re-emphasized in such movies as Once Upon a Time in China, that the ultimate contribution a citizen could make to a country is to sacrifice his life even when he is guiltless of wrongdoing, because he recognizes the benefit to the country, the culture, and to thousands, or in this case, millions of people. Now, you will recall that just yesterday was National Heroes Day in Barbados. So a movie such as this one is a powerful tool of communicating cultural values to a greater or lesser degree to any kind of audience. Sometimes creative writers communicate visions or prophecies, depending on where you think the inspiration comes from. Is it genuine prophetic insight or is it happenstance? Back in 1967, Barbados's premier poet, Edward Kamau Brathwaite, wrote a collection of poems entitled Rites of Passage, which ultimately became a trilogy called The Arrivals. It traces the coming unwillingly, forcefully through slavery of Africans to the Caribbean, and then the reverse journey into the United States and Europe, the same Africa, England, and diverse places. He has a poem that's entitled The Immigrants, and I want to share with you a little piece from that poem. I've got the whole poem here, but I'm only going to share a little bit. We have a little technical challenge, but we will sort it out in a minute. We're just sorting out our technological challenge. Won't take very long. Right. So here we've got the poem. At the end of section 2 of this poem, the poet asks, having painted a picture of Barbadians emigrating, going to diverse places, what they hope for, what finds there, these New World mariners, Columbus coursing cafes. And this is the really interesting part. What cafe shores for them are gleaming golden? What magic keys they carry to unlock what gold in dragon doors? Clearly a reference to China. Because as you recall in European history, Columbus was intent on reaching China to access the legendary wealth through trade that Marco Polo had talked about and written about. Ignorant of the true geography of the world, he discovered, in inverted commas, the West Indies. So when Kamau Brathwaite, this celebrated Barbadian poet, thinks about our movements as a people, he uses this allusion, this reference to this country called China, Cathay, and its fabled riches to capture Barbadians' attempt to improve themselves through migration. Now, we come to the 21st century. One of the phrases that has become very popular in the last year, including used by the Honorable Mia Amor Mortley, Prime Minister of Barbados, is the term building out. China started interacting with the Barbados in terms of my personal experience by exporting goods to us, basins, crayons, pencils, books, and so forth. Now, however, that relationship has evolved in far more effective and meaningful ways for both peoples. So here is a picture of Sam Lord's Castle Pass, a derelict building, once a premier hotel on this island and contributing to the gross domestic product, the national GDP, and all of that. That building was allowed for diverse reasons we will not explore to deteriorate to what you see on the screen. However, here is an image of a projected future Sam Lord's Castle, which is being constructed through funds from China and the artistry of Chinese workmen. As you can see, this will be a dramatic transformation and positive contribution to the country of Barbados, its earning capacity. Let's go a step further. We're going to skip the aerial view of the same Sam Lord's Castle. And we are going to come now to something that a number of people have spoken about this morning. But just before we get there, here's another project in which Barbados is going to be benefiting and has already started to do so. That is the importation of steel structure houses from China. And a recent news article indicated that there is a plan for Barbados to become a hub in the Caribbean for the construction of these steel houses. So not only will we benefit by strengthening the housing stock of our own people, but we will be able to participate in an export venture with China. I think penultimately or finally, this is a picture of the iconic East Coast of Barbados, part of the Scotland district. This is the most beautiful part of the country in the view of tourists and locals alike. But the road has deteriorated dramatically. And the Prime Minister has several times in the last months identified a major construction project, which is going to provide opportunities for training, which have already started, and for employment for thousands and thousands of Barbadians. This is yet another way in which the country of China, in its relationship with Barbados, is contributing to its development and through which we are benefiting. Of course, closer to home is the Mutual Life Assurance Society building in Lower Broad Street, the capital city, Bridgetown. The interior of which has been refurbished very beautifully, I'm told, by a security guard from UWI, and now becomes Cave Hill's city in the city, campus in the city, I'm sorry. But as some people said in previous presentations, perhaps the most important interaction between Barbados and China has been the people-to-people relationship. And this is what I want to focus on a little bit here. My first introduction to Chinese people in any meaningful way was through the fact that my office was next to the office of the Confucius Institute. And one morning, a young lady called April Zhang and I had a conversation. She became my first Chinese friend. Subsequently, her superior and the director at the time and his wife, Paul and Lisa, also became people with whom I developed a relationship, as well as Shuli, who used to teach here up to last academic year, and Grace, of course, who's now co-director. So from a casual conversation, I have become what I choose to call a friend of the Confucius Institute, and that is thanks to April Zhang. Now, here's a picture of April and Lisa. Something is going weirdly amiss with my technology this morning. I don't know why. Let me just back a little bit to get that for you. You know how it is with technology. And cooperative when you want it to function well. Okay, we're coming to that soon. There we go. Okay. Yes. Right, there is Lisa, and there's April on the right of your screen. Now, here's another powerful example of that people-to-people relationship that has been adverted to 3 or 4 times this morning. Most of you will not recognize this man, but his name is Liebert Mack. He is a master of Wushu, Tai Chi, and other martial arts. He is the person responsible in 2009 for my initiation as a student of Tai Chi. I'd been doing martial arts since the 1970s and 80s, but that's the first time I began with Tai Chi. And he himself was taught by an unknown Chinese citizen. I'm very sorry I can't tell you the name. He himself wouldn't remember. But one day he had a chance meeting in Queen's Park with this person. I suspect the Chinese man was somebody working in construction in Barbados at the time. And in this conversation, the Chinese citizen said, do you want to learn forms or do you want to learn Kung Fu? And the Barbadian Libermat replied Kung Fu. Now, for those of you who are not initiated, there may be no difference. But for people who understand martial arts, there's a big difference. And this happened in the 1970s, I believe. Then a martial artist talks about forms and differentiates it from Kung Fu. The notion is form is like dance, it's like acrobatics, it's for entertainment purposes. But a person who learns Kung Fu develops solid foundational fighting skills. So if you really understand martial arts, you'll recognize that forms is like cotton candy, but Kung Fu is like Chinese dumplings, and you want something solid and substantial. So he opted to learn Kung Fu, which of course meant that he learned forms as well. Now, let's go a step further. Because of that contact with the unknown Chinese man, Libermat went on to found the Barbados Wushu Tai Chi Federation, which is internationally affiliated. And that was in 1994. He himself has been inducted into the USA Wushu Kung Fu Federation Hall of Fame in 2000 for promoting Wushu Kung Fu locally and internationally, among many other national, regional, and international martial arts and coaching awards. So as you can see, from one casual meeting in Queen's Park between a Barbadian and an unknown Chinese man, this Barbadian has been able to make a significant contribution to spreading this aspect of what is now called part of China's intangible cultural heritage, Tai Chi and Wushu, across the region and around the world. So it speaks to the power of people-to-people relationships. Now, let's come to Proverbs, because I'm a lover of literature. There's a quotation here which you'll see on your left. Peace is precious, attributed to somebody quoted by the Chinese President Xi Jinping. Peace is precious. Now, given the context of the invasion of Ukraine by Russia and the other calamities going on around the world, certainly we would all understand the centrality of peace. There are many articles on YouTube and the internet that actually testify that in recent years, perhaps more so than before, Chinese political officials have been drawing on the enduring wisdom of Proverbs as they interact and negotiate with countries abroad. For example, a quotation is attributed to Prime Minister Li Keqiang about India-China relations at the gathering of business leaders in New Delhi back in 2013. The proverb was, a distant relative may not be useful as a near neighbor. And the second example, in talking about the concept or his conception of China-Asia security, President Xi Jinping is quoted as saying, neighbors wish each other well, just like family members do. Again, as a second quotation from President Xi Jinping, talking to the Indonesian parliament in 2013, he is reported to have used this proverb, a big tree grows from a small seedling and a 9-story tower is built out of soil. So in the spirit of that recognition of the enduring wisdom of Proverbs, I share with you now some Barbadian proverbs that testify or speak to the power of positive relationships as well. These come from a collection of Barbadian proverbs compiled by G. Addington Ford. And the proverbs I've chosen are, one hand can clap. In other words, cooperation is important or necessary to achieve anything. Secondly, don't court Robin for e-rides. Do not cultivate a friendship only for what you can get out of it. So these two proverbs and the one I'm going to share with you next all testify to the importance of cooperation and reciprocity rather than exploitation. Or to use one final Belgian proverb, bet who bet you. In other words, help those who help you. So the question arises, China is vastly bigger than Barbados. We don't even amount to a city in China. China has 1 billion plus people. We amount to less than a city in China in terms of population. What is it that Barbados could give to China as opposed to only what we can get? Well, the Prime Minister, I think, articulated clearly one of those possibilities just yesterday in a speech that I saw on YouTube. She talked about not allowing Harrison's Point to go back to a state of rack and ruin, and to use it instead as a specialist health and wellness facility. So given the fact that we have universal sunshine 365.25 days a year, Chinese who are renowned travelers could come to Barbados for those facilities. In addition, as we are speakers of English as a consequence of colonization, we can help to provide teachers of English as a foreign language or English as a second language, Chinese. And though we are small, we have a lot of variety in a limited space, which means Barbados will be a wonderful travel experience for Chinese citizens who will be able to enjoy the island in a week or less and see everything and experience its richness because they wouldn't have to travel thousands of miles from one place of interest to another. But I think most of all, what Barbados offers to China is a social model, because China has 56 ethnicities, it is said. Barbados has far fewer. They've got lots of languages and dialects, we have far fewer. They've got different religions than we do too. But what we have here that we can offer to them is this citizen, this country as a model of people of different races, ethnicities, faiths and religions, even Satanism, or no religion at all, peacefully, harmoniously coexisting in the same small island. Now, I want ultimately use this image here. The dragon is a powerful symbol of movies, mythology, and so following. In the Western world, the dragon is an embodiment of evil and destructiveness, torturing villages, devouring people, and decimating landscape. But in Chinese culture, dragons are not necessarily negative or all negative. Dragons are symbols of spirituality and prosperity. So the question is, how should we respond to China? And you know, I don't have to tell you about the diverse opinions of China's engagement with countries around the world. Should we fear China or not? My suggestion is, my recommendation, do not fear the dragon. I'm going to share with you a poem which explains why we should not. And this is from the Black American woman, Angela, who died in 2014. At the time, she was the most read Black woman writer in the world. The poem is called Human Family. Note the obvious differences in the human family. Some of us are serious, some thrive on comedy. Some declare their lives are lived as true profundity, and others claim they really live the real reality. The variety of our skin tones can confuse, bemuse delight. Brown and pink and beige and purple, tan and blue and white. I've sailed up the 7 seas and stopped in every land. I've seen the wonders of the world, not yet one common man. I know 10,000 women called Payne and Mary Jane, but I've never seen any two who really were the same. Their twins are different, although their features died, and lovers think quite different thoughts while lying side by side. We love and lose in China. We weep on England's moors, and laugh and moan in Guinea, and thrive on Spanish shores. We seek success in Finland, are born and die in Maine. In minor ways we differ, in major we're the same. I know the obvious differences between each sort and type, but we are more alike, my friends, than we are unalike. We are more alike, my friends, than we are unalike. We are more alike, my friends, than we are unalike. And finally, I want to share with you in 2+ minutes a piece of China's intangible heritage, which is Tai Chi. So I'm just going to try and set up my camera. I need to stop sharing. We need to get this camera working. It's a wedge. Oh. Now, it might be a good idea for you to go to the rectangle where you're seeing me shaking my hands. Click on the 3 dots in the top right-hand corner and pin my rectangle. So this is an 18-movement form from the Yang style of Tai Chi. And the names are wonderful because Chinese love poetry. It's in their DNA. So the names of the movements, even when translated in English, are poetic. Names such as Wind Scatters the Lotus Leaves, or Golden Rooster Stands on One Leg, and so forth. So I'm just going to do this form for you before my final words. So we're starting out, inhaling, sinking, parrying and striking, And then from there, we're going to descend over here, come here, turn, and then we're gonna do the old man idling, splitting horse stance. Then we're gonna turn and strike the tire, only drive it, turns its head. Push boat along current. Pluck fan at both sides. Just gonna step back so we're still in frame. White queen spreads its wings. Then scatters the lotus leaves. Spring returns to the land. Legs, catch fan, and we're going to close. Just a little case of youngster Tai Chi. And as one who does not read Chinese, speak Chinese, or write Chinese, my last screen sharing contribution, thanks to that wonderful medium called Google Translate, is Xia. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Sam. And I have to say your Tai Chi class is very interesting and I enjoy it very, very much. So next presenter will be introduced by Taran Earwood. So welcome, Taran.
Okay. Hello everyone, hello. It's been a very nice presentation so far, and now we're coming into our final stretch. So I'll be taking over from Ian and Renee at this point, and I'll be introducing the final three presenters for our today's event. So with no further ado, allow me to introduce Mrs. Joycelyn Seeley. Now, Joycelyn Seeley is a part-time local Chinese teacher at the Confucius Institute, University of West Indies, Cape Hill, and she is presently assigned, with myself, to the Ellerslie Secondary School, teaching beginners Chinese Mandarin to first and second formers. Now, Joycelyn believes that no one is too old to learn Chinese. No one is too old to learn Mandarin. Therefore, learning a foreign language, especially Chinese Mandarin, is the gateway for creating a platform that fosters effective communication with 1.4 billion people, as well as bridging a cultural gap with one of the oldest civilizations in the world. Now, in addition to this, it positions persons to have a competitive advantage to in any field of study. Now, in addition to teaching at the Ellerslie Secondary School, she has had the opportunity between 2016 to 2019 to teach oral Chinese at the Barbados Institute of Management and Productivity, and in 2019 at the Confucius Institute. Now, Joycelyn Seeley was given the opportunity in 2019 to benefit from teachers training at the BLCU, Beijing Language and Culture University, and in September this year will continue to improve her language skills by attending another teacher's training. Now, Joycelyn Seeley holds a master's degree in business administration from the University of Surrey, HSK levels 3 and 4 certificates. She is known to be very professional, knowledgeable, patient, having excellent interpersonal skills, and being a team player, as she believes that teaching together achieves more. On a personal note, Joycelyn also enjoys playing lawn tennis, swimming, and watching Chinese movies. So without further ado, I present you to Miss Joycelyn Seeley. Welcome, Joycelyn.
Thank you, Hiron. Deputy Principal of University, Dr. Winston Moore. His Excellency Ambassador Yan Xuesheng, Ambassador of China in Barbados. His Excellency Ambassador Helen Henry, Ambassador of Barbados in China. Senator Dr. Charleston Brathwaite, Vice President of the Association for Barbados-China Friendship. Tricia King, Senior Foreign Service Officer, Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade. CI Co-Directors, Mr. Babulia and Dr. Lee. Dr. Song Qingbo, former co-director of CI, a special good morning and congrats to your bundle of joy. My fellow teachers, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, a pleasant good morning to you all. As you heard, my name is Joycelyn Seeley, a local teacher with the Confucius Institute. And I would first like to thank the Confucius Institute for providing this platform to share my experience and for you too, the audience, for giving up time of your busy schedule to be here this morning to go along with my journey this morning. At this point in time, I would like to share my screen. Of teaching of Chinese language and culture, my journey. My first step in the journey of the Chinese language and culture began in 2005, whilst I was pursuing my master's degree in business administration. I was given the assignment to discuss the cultural differences between England and China using the Hofstede model. I want you to remember this, the Hofstede model. I will share more on that later. So it was at this time that I realized the critical importance of knowing and understanding the language and culture, because it was so important in breaking down barriers for doing business. So therefore, my initial objective was to study the language so that I was able to communicate with the Chinese people. However, following my graduation in 2005, I therefore took a beginner's Chinese course at the Barbados Community College in 2006 for 2 semesters. As a language person, I was very eager, not only to learn the language, as I said, but speak it. And I was helped through the enthusiasm and dedication of my teacher, who also is a local teacher at the Institute. Good morning, Victoria Miller. Again, it was at that point that I realized that the language, it was no Spanish or no Spanish or French, which I took at secondary school, but one that comprised, this represents my first step. As you can see, the first step into the unknown. Secondly, as you see here on the screen, you can see pinyin, initial, finals, tone, hands, the character, clearly representative of the Chinese language for those who know. And that was my introduction at the Barbados Community College in 2006. Here, the highlight though, as was mentioned earlier, the first tour, I only recognized that this morning by what someone said. That was the first tour in 2007. I was part of that journey. And we had the opportunity to travel to China on this cultural tour. And here it was in 2007, interacting, touring one of the richest civilizations in the world with its rich culture. And it was seen through the architecture. We saw the pagoda roofs, houses, the language, the homes, the museums, the Great Wall, Tiananmen Square, all of those wonderful, interesting places that you visit. Also, too, we were allowed to visit Shanghai via train, and that took us 12 hours. And you know, now with the bullet train, it's a journey that only would take 4 hours. So that was a very thrilling experience. And for me, at that point in time, there was never the objective of teaching the language. Another chapter opened up in 2007 also, on return from China as a public officer, and with Barbados and China continuing to forge relationship, I had the opportunity to receive a scholarship to go to Beijing to study the language for 3 months. I know a friend of mine, she and I did that, received those scholarships, and she is here present now. Good morning, Felicia. And at the Barbados, here it is, at the Beijing College, I was placed in a class where I had only to learn characters. Remember, my leaving Barbados at the Barbados Community College, I was only exposed to limited character recognition. However, when we arrived in China, we were interviewed and I was placed at level 3. Now you could understand how overwhelming that was, because level 3 is only Chinese characters, studying Chinese characters. And as you see here in the photo, remember Dr. Song, he looked at the different places on the map. And we saw the different continents. So this picture is a representation of all of those persons who attended that course from all the different continents of the world. And it was a cultural experience, not only from China, but also from places like Africa, the African continent, the Latin American continent, and so on. There were 90-something of us represented from our varying countries. And as I said, I had to study all characters. But for the exams, what I did, I requested the assistance of a national, and I was able to come first in the reading as a result of that. However, the listening was another thing, because my listening skills were not attuned. I actually failed that aspect of the exam, and it was very emotional for me. What helped though is that interaction with the natives. We had the opportunity to move around Beijing a lot, and for those persons who have not traveled to China before, everything is in characters. There's no pinging at all. So you had to learn fast. So my exposure to the characters at that level really helped me to move around China freely, and also to have that interaction with the natives. And therefore, my Chinese was able to improve. On completion, as you can see here, I would have received a certificate in the language. I remember that was at HSK level 3 proficiency. We fast forward now to 2015. The Confucius Institute is opened in Barbados. And it was that at that time that I met my new teacher, Lisa. And remember, Lisa is Dr. Song Chinbo's wife. She was not only my teacher, but she was my Chinese mentor, because she played a very pivotal role in my Chinese trajectory. And when I wanted to take the HSK level exams, she said to me that you would either have to go to Jamaica or you would have to go to China. So I said to her, could you call or could you ask headquarters if the possibility exists for Barbados to have the HSK exams? That she did. Another first, I was able to take the HSK level 3 and 4 exams with her as a result of that. And as we can see today, Barbados is one of the hubs for hosting those exams. So said, so done. In 2016 now, that is when I achieved my HSK levels 3 and 4 certificate. And what she did, she was a teacher at BIMAP. She was teaching oral Chinese, and she allowed me to accompany her on those teaching assignments and act as her understudy on her assistant, so that if she was not available, I was the person who was able to teach the language. And therefore, when she returned to China, I became that full-time teacher at the Barbados Institute of Management Productivity between 2016 and 19. So it was at that stage that my objective to teach the language began. And in August 2018 then, I benefited from going to China to the Beijing Language and Culture University as a local teacher to benefit from local training. And this is a picture of me receiving my certificate at the university. Now, similar opportunities opened up in 2019. And from last year, I have been teaching first and second formers at the Ellerslie Secondary School. And in addition to that, the Confucius Institute each semester offers a course on learning the Chinese culture And for me, I teach the business etiquette section of it. Remember, I spoke of the Hofstede model from the outset? Well, that is what I use today to help person to see, because it's an excellent business model in helping two cultures bridge the gap in not only understanding the language, but understanding the culture. And it shows to how it allows persons to break down those barriers, which would not be able to do so as a result of not knowing the language and culture. As stated from the outset, my objective is to use my Chinese language skills and experience to teach language and culture, as I believe, as was said, that it is the gateway for creating a platform that fosters effective communication with 1.4 billion people. So to all those persons who are, oh, I forgot the picture. This is a picture, sorry, of the Ellerslie School. And these are the first formers that I teach. I'm gonna see if we can hear a video of one of the students introducing herself. Let's see if we hear her. Good. She was just introducing herself, what her name is. Very nice to meet you and goodbye. Yes. So to all those who are apprehensive in studying the language and culture and who think it is hard to do, I leave these words with you. One, sure, kai to nan, the first step is always the hardest. But with motivation and the right attitude and hard work, you can achieve whatever you set your mind to do. That ends my presentation.
A lovely presentation, Joycelyn, a lovely presentation. I especially liked your final statement. It's very true. Now, with Joycelyn's presentation finished, we move on to our next presenter, Senator Charleston Braffett. However, at this point, I would like to remind everyone that we're actually over the prescribed time, so we're going into extra time. So I just want everyone to be aware of the time limit we have remaining, because we're already over time. So with that out of the way, I now move on to presenting Senator Dr. Charleston Braffett. Now, Dr. Braffett has over 50 years experience working in agricultural training, agricultural development, and food security as an administrator, researcher, lecturer, and technical advisor. Dr. Braffett was born in Barbados in 1943. In 1963, he was awarded a Barbados Additional Scholarship to pursue a Bachelor of Science degree in Agricultural Science at the University of the West Indies, St. Augustine campus, Trinidad and Tobago. When he graduated with an honors degree in 1966, he was immediately awarded a scholarship by Cornell University, Ithaca, New York, USA, to pursue postgraduate studies. In November, we're going to skip a little. So in November 2001, after completing his studies and working experience of over 40 years, he was elected by the countries of the hemisphere in Barbados, in the Caribbean, as the 9th Director General of the IICA for the period 2002 to 2006. In this capacity, he became the first Barbadian, the first West Indian, and the first person of African descent to achieve this position in the 75-year history of the Institute. If we skip a little bit more, in 2013, he was selected as Barbados' second resident ambassador to the People's Republic of China and took up residence in Beijing, China, with his wife Rosanna from February 2014 until December 2017. Now, Dr. Braffett is fluent in English and Spanish and is recognized for his administrative, technical, and institutional leadership in international agricultural development, having worked in Barbados, the United States of America, Italy, Kenya, Jamaica, Trinidad and Tobago, Costa Rica, Mexico, and China. And so, without further ado, I present to you Senator Dr. Charleston Braffett. Welcome, Doctor.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Yep.
All protocol observed. Ni men hao.
Ni hao.
Ni hao.
Changa sinchi I wo hen mang sinchi I wo ha wo iron chu fang gua che wang fan. Sinchi ar wo ha wo iron chu I wang kang wo de lao pong yo. Wo de jia li I wan hen jing. Wan yang zo lu dagai shi fenzong. Yi shizo dao hong lu dong. Wo guai I wan zai wu shi mi. Sing chi san woman chu chao shi mai dong si. Woman mai le hendo shui go he shu kai. Mai le bingo shang jio putao. Shenza mango shivwa komia li. Rang ho woman ichi chu le shi chang mai li cha. Mi fan yu ro. Jiro, Sharo, Yangro, Kula, Cafe, Hanjio, Liga Pijo, Leo Pingio, Habaijo, Rangho, Wochu, Li Fadian, Rangho Le Huo Irin, Ichi Gong Tuan Sambu, Woman Pendo, Igalao Pongyo, Tashe, Wodashe Tongshe. Sinjai Tajai Yinghang Gongzo. Tahen Pieliong, Pieliang, Tashe Jamaya Ren. Jintien Wuchu Shui Shao, Shen Han Yuke. Wode Iron Chu Jien Shangfong Da Liang. Shanga Sinchi I, Womaila, Is Liang, Shinche, Shi Huise, Shabenchu, and Fang Bien. Good morning. You may not understand my Chinese because I'm not a good student. Let me begin by welcoming all of you to this forum and to thank you for inviting me to say a few words. My name is Charleston Bradford, a citizen of Barbados, and in 2014, I was selected by the government to be the second resident ambassador of Barbados to the People's Republic of China. And I took residence in Beijing in 2014. But as I said, I'm not a good student like Stefan or Jocelyn. And so I knew no Chinese at all. I want to say that when I was appointed, I realized I had no knowledge of Chinese, and so I decided to try to learn some Mandarin before I left Barbados to go to China. And I heard there was a Chinese teacher at Cave Hill. And I decided to contact him. I got in touch with Mr. Subo, who I understand is still with us this morning. I would like to thank him very much for his introduction to Mandarin and his introduction to Chinese. With him, I learned the Chinese alphabet and the way you have to put your tongue and your mouth in order to speak Chinese. We practiced pronunciation. I remember the days when he brought the book and I had to say ba, pa, ma, ta, bo, po, mo, fo, bu, pu, mu, fu, bai, pai, mai, dai, be, pie, fe, le. I went back to school. I went back to my infancy. I went back to where I was when I was in primary school learning English. And I had to start with the alphabet. And then after I learned the alphabet, I also discovered there were something called tones. So I had to learn ma and ma and ma. And that these were different things. And that if you did not realize that ma can mean mother or ma can mean a horse, you may confuse and call your horse a mother horse. And that would be very bad. I also learned in the case of ba, it, ba, to pull, ba, a target, and ba, the father. Now you have to know the difference. So what I learned in the early stages of this language, that MA means 4 different things, and BA means 4 different things. It's a matter of the pronunciation. So I went back to school to learn a new language, something I knew nothing about. I got my first introduction to the tones and learned that I must not call my mother a horse. Otherwise, I'll be in trouble. In those lessons, Mr. Shubo was very patient, and he understood my reality, that I was a mature student learning a completely new language. I was fortunate because I also learned Spanish as a mature student when I went to Costa Rica in 1989 and eventually had to work in that language for 8 years. But Chinese is different. Chinese, to me, was more challenging. And as I said, I'm not a good student at my age. But ever since I arrived in Beijing in 2014, my wife and I enrolled in Chinese class at Hanban at the University of Political Science and Law. And every Saturday morning, we would go to classes with other diplomatic staff to try to learn Mandarin. It was very interesting because after Saturday morning learning Mandarin, I came home, I went to sleep. My brain was totally covered in new expressions, new words, new approaches, and new information that I was really tired. And those were very challenging days of trying to learn the language. I must say one of the beautiful things about China is that even as an ambassador, you can survive with English if you don't know a lot of Chinese, because a significant amount of Chinese documents are in English. And a significant amount of the meetings are in fact translated into English at the time, simultaneous translation. So I survived the 4 years in Beijing without having a profound knowledge of Chinese. And when I came back to Barbados, I decided that this language is important. It's important not only for me, it's important for my country. It's important for the next generation of Barbadians to understand China and to understand the changing global reality which we face, where China has become a major force in economic and social development and a powerhouse of technology. And I said, if that is so, it's important to continue to learn the language. It's then that I discovered that there's a Confucius Institute at Cave Hill, and I decided to enroll in the class. Well, I was fortunate in that I met a young teacher, Dr. Li Yanhua, the wife of Paul Song, and I would like Paul, if he's still listening, to convey to Lisa my profound thanks for her contribution to my understanding of Chinese. And I would like to congratulate them also on their new baby. Lisa was a tremendous teacher, patient and understanding, And from her, I was able to understand a little better the meaning of the culture and the meaning of the tones. I thank her for her contribution, and I would like to say that she made a great contribution to my understanding of the language. And then came my current Wodelaushi, Grace, Lee Renya. Grace is special. She is not only about Chinese as a language, she is about Chinese as a culture. She's about Chinese of history. She's about Chinese for their poems. She's about Chinese for their song. And she introduces you to all dimensions of China. I have learned a lot from her, not only Chinese, but history and culture of the Chinese people. And I want to thank her very much for her contribution. She's a very serious teacher. Every week, she gives me a new exercise to do. I hold up this one for you to see. This is the latest HKS1, 2, and 1 and 2, which she gave me with homework. Now, I do not have a lot of time, but Grace gives me homework every week when we meet. This is the last exercise that we did. Not easy, challenging, but very interesting. This one says, Wang Shang woman Chu Fang Guan Cheer Wang Fan Zemeya. And I struggle with the Chinese. And when she comes to ask the questions, I have to reply. Otherwise, I do not look so bright in the class. Fortunately, it's a class of 1, so I'm not too embarrassed because we do it on Zoom. So I can always get away with some of the challenges. But Grace is a tremendous teacher, and she does a wonderful job. Very good contribution. Today, I am happy that I continue to learn Chinese. It is not an easy language, let me admit to you. It is not easy. And it is even more difficult when you reach my age. I guess when you're young, it is easier to get into your head, but like me, it is not easy. And so I believe this is a golden opportunity for Barbadians to take advantage of the Confucius Institute, which exists here in Barbados. In other words, they don't have to go to China to learn Chinese. Right in your backyard, you have a facility which the Chinese are providing a service to Barbados, where you can take advantage of the fact that genuine and authentic Chinese teachers are coming from China to teach you. This is the, as they would say in Barbados, this is the real McCoy. And therefore, this is an opportunity that is unique and that should be taken advantage of. I believe that the Institute, the Confucius Institute, will continue to make a tremendous contribution to the strengthening of relations between Barbados and China. I believe that 45 years is just the beginning of the relationship. And I think over the last 10 years, I have seen tremendous progress in terms of China-Barbados relations, and the Confucius Institute has a very important role to play. The last exercise that Grace gave me says, 我要去北京旅游，你觉得什么时候去最好？ I wish to go back to Beijing.
Anytime it's a good time.
Thank you very much. That is my contribution. Before I go, I would just like to say one last thing. I have not given you everything that I would like to give you. I'd just like to tell you that I prepared a book on China, which you can see here, called Memories of China. It's not in Chinese, it's in English, because I could not write a book in Chinese. But I have been fortunate in that Grace and Mr. Leo at the university has now translated the book into Chinese. And I was fortunate to be able to present a copy of the Chinese version to the Chinese ambassador in Barbados last week. So the book is now in English and Chinese, and we will be doing what is necessary to promote this book, as some people think is one of the best things that they have seen written by a Barbadian on China. Thank you very kindly. I'm glad to be here. I appreciate the opportunity, and I wish you well, and I wish the Institute well, and may we continue to strengthen relations between Barbados and China. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Senator Dr. Charleston Braffett. It was a wonderful presentation. I think we all enjoyed it. Now we come to our final presenter for today, a person who really needs no introduction, but since I'm here, I'll do it nonetheless. We welcome Miss Alexandria Payne. Now, in 2021, Alexandria Payne joined the Confucius Institute, staff at the University of the West Indies, Cape Hill, as a local overseas volunteer teacher. A Barbadian national and graduate of the Queen's College Secondary School, Miss Payne was awarded the Chinese Government Scholarship in partnership with the Ministry of Education of Barbados before. Now, in 2014, she embarked on her journey in China in pursuit of her bachelor's degree in Chinese language, which she procured in 2020. During her time in China, she frequently tutored private students in both English and Mandarin, and in addition, she attained level 6 of the Chinese proficiency test. She now holds the position of full-time teacher at the Institute, providing lessons in Mandarin and Chinese culture to many of the Institute's partnering schools and institutions, such as the St. Stephen's Primary School, the Charles F. Broome Memorial Primary School, the Barbados Community College, BCC, the National Library Service of Barbados, as well as the University of the West Indies Cave Hill campus. And with that introduction out of the way, with no further ado, I present to you Miss Alexandria Payne. You have the floor, Alex.
Thank you, Tyrone. 谢谢. I am going to try to keep this as short as possible because I know that we are way over time. So I'm just going to share my screen if I am allowed. Yes. And get right into it, so to speak. Deputy Principal Professor Moore, who unfortunately I believe had to leave, His Excellency Ambassador Yen, His Excellency Ambassador Henry, Senator Dr. Brathwaite, co-directors Mr. Bulbulia and Dr. Lee, my fellow presenters and colleagues from the Confucius Institute, distinguished guests, and ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here. And my name is Alexandria Payne, as Tyrone would have said. I am a full-time local Chinese language teacher here at the Confucius Institute. I was educated at a very, very small, unknown school. I like to call it my village school, St. Luke's Brighton Primary School in St. George. Then I went on to the Queen's College Secondary School, which was at that time my dream school, and then Central China Normal University. But I also have to mention that I attended the University of the West Indies Cave Hill between the years of 2013 and 2014. And this is very, very important because that was the start of my journey into Chinese language. So I studied in China for about 6 years, and I've been studying Chinese for over 9 years now. And I have been with the Confucius Institute, as Tyrone said, since 2020, January. So that's about 14 to 15 months as of now. This presentation and this opportunity is actually super special to me and important because so many people that are a big influence on my journey into Chinese language are actually present here today. So to begin with, like Stefan said, the man who started it all would have been Shu Laoshi. And this would be the first time in a long time that I would have actually been able to see him. So I want to say hi, Laoshi, and it's very, very good to see you. And in 2013, when Shu Laoshi came to Barbados, I would have been among his first students, along with Stefan and several others. As Stefan would have mentioned earlier, a good set of his students went on to study in China, actually, and I was one of them. And it was because of him I knew about the Chinese government scholarship at the time. I did not know it existed, but he encouraged us all to sign up for the scholarship, and I was fortunate enough to be accepted. And another small detail that I always think is important to me is that Chu Laoshi is also from Wuhan, which is where I studied. And that is actually one of the reasons why I chose Wuhan to study, because I, at that time, didn't know any other places in China save Shanghai and Beijing, like most people who are familiar with China. And so outside of those two cities, I also chose Wuhan, and I ended up at Central China Normal University, which is the university that I gained my bachelor's in Chinese language. So a lot of people ask me why I decided to study Chinese language in the first place. And the answer is, I like to think it's simple. And I like to say it's the anime watching to studying in Asia pipeline. I'm sure if you ask a lot of persons who ended up studying in whether it's China, Japan, Thailand, any of the other Asian countries, most of them would have grown up loving Asian culture, whether that is in the form of anime, whether that was in the form of stories. And that was me as a child growing up. I always knew I wanted to study in Asia. Did I know I was going to study in China? Not really. I really actually was aiming for Japan at first. And then I was introduced to Chinese language by one of my professors at the University of the West Indies, Cave Hill. And as they say, the rest is history. I haven't looked back since then. So I've been studying Chinese from 2013. And I still consider myself a student of Chinese language, even though I'm a teacher now. Even just teaching the language gives me the opportunity to continue learning, which you need, because a teacher should also be updating their knowledge to move with their students. And I am thankful for the Confucius Institute for giving me that opportunity to not only give back my knowledge, but retain it and also gain some more of it. So my Chinese language journey. Like I said before, I would have started at the University of the West Indies, Cave Hill in 2013. My professor was Xu Bo. I applied for the Chinese government scholarship in 2014, and I was accepted, and I went on to Central China Normal University in Wuhan, China. When I moved to Wuhan, as most people who are familiar with the government scholarship would know, you study 1 year of Chinese language before you go on to your major. And my major would have been Chinese language. So I officially started that in 2015. And these are just some pictures of my school around here. This is a temple that was attached to our school. And this is us on a field trip to the museum, one of Wuhan's museums, with one of my classes, because I had several different classes as I went on in my major. So I attained level 4 of the Chinese proficiency test in 2015, level 5 in 2016, and level 6 in 2019. And people usually say, how comes you have level 6? Because most people stop really at level 4, because that is the level that is required for you to enter your major. Partially because I had to be able to graduate, I had to do level 6. And I also just wanted to finish all the levels. So I started with level 4. So I skipped 1 to 3. I started with 4 and I finished with level 6. And then in 2020, I would have graduated from CCNU. So these are just some pictures of me and my classmates, my teachers, some of the scenery. This is Huanglagu. People who've been to China know that it's pretty famous, Happy Valley. And then Wuhan, which is what I consider my city. And these are all the students that would have graduated with me, the class of 2020, from the Chinese language program at the Central China Normal University. My time at the Institute. So I applied for the position of overseas volunteer teacher at the Confucius Institute at Cave Hill in 2020, and I was accepted. The amazing thing about me kind of falling into this job, of course, I had graduated, I just came back. I was very tired from studying because I had been studying for about 6 years straight at the university. And I wanted to take a break from studying for a while. So of course, the natural progression would have been to work, but I also wanted something that was going to keep my Chinese fresh. I didn't want to lose it. I didn't want to get worse and forget everything that I had worked so hard to learn in the first place. So when I found out about this position, this seemed like the perfect thing for me. It would have allowed me to pursue my education if I wanted to continue, but still be able to make money and just kind of take a soft break from studying. And I was very, very ecstatic when I was accepted and I started. When I started, it would have just been Stefan, I believe, and myself. That would have been the local teachers that would have been attached to Confucius Institute, because the other teachers who were working part-time at that time would have been employed through the university. So we would have been employed through a different avenue. And I started the position in January 2021, and I made the switch to full-time local teacher in 2022, which is this year. So these are just some examples of work I would have done with the Institute so far, meetings that we would have had. With the Institute, I have had the opportunity to gain a lot more experience as a teacher. As Tyrone would have mentioned, I did do some teaching when I would have been in China, but it was very much one-on-one teaching, private tutoring. And even when I did do group sessions, they were very, very small. I'm talking classes of 5, maybe classes of 10. So working with the Institute would have been the first time that I actually started working with full classes. And it was a little bit hard to acclimatize to, but fortunately for me, I started work during the pandemic, which allowed us to be online. And I think that that definitely helped ease me into being a face-to-face, full-time, full class teacher. And that definitely helped. And it was an easy transition as well because of the co-directors at the Confucius Institute. David and Grace have been an amazing help in terms of my experience as a teacher, and not just my experience as a teacher, working in administration, working in event planning. This job was posed as a teaching job, but really it's an everything job. And I'm pretty sure that everybody who works at the Institute understands what I mean. There's a bit of everything involved, and it helps you to build a lot of skills. And I'm very, very happy that I am able to work with the Confucius Institute team and to learn not just from the co-directors, but also from my fellow colleagues as well. Some of them have Chinese that far surpasses mine, obviously because they're from China, but persons like Tyrone that would have been in China for a very, very long time, who is well-versed not only in the language, but the culture. I find myself learning a lot every single time we have an event or we have any kind of workshop or meeting. And that is one of the great things I love about being at the Institute. So at the Institute, I currently teach classes with the many institutions partner with CI, which include the Charles F. Broome Memorial Primary School, the St. Stephen's Primary School, the Barbados Community College, the National Library Service, as well as UWI-CH Cave Hill. And again, as I said, this presentation is special to me because a lot of people who are influential in my journey are present here. And the National Library Service partnership is also special to me because I grew up basically at the library service. My mother used to work there for many, many years. So the chance to give back to the library service is also one of the great opportunities that I receive while working with the Confucius Institute. And that also makes me very happy. I want to backtrack a little bit now that I'm talking about influences to say that Dr. Brathwaite might not remember me, but he made a trip to Wuhan, I believe in 2015, and I would have met him there with all the other Barbadian students that would have been in Wuhan. And it is amazing to me that he is exactly the same way that he was when I met him. Very friendly, very knowledgeable, and very passionate about the relationship between China and Barbados, and ensuring that it's mutually beneficial and that people are aware of it and understand that it is a great thing to be a part of. So that is one of the reasons why I was so excited to be a part of this event today, because so many people that have been present in my journey in Chinese language and teaching Chinese are also a part of this presentation. So that makes it extremely special to me in that way. Another thing that I love about working with CI is that I get to meet so many different people from so many different walks of life, from different backgrounds, from different majors, from different business backgrounds. And the events that we plan are always very interesting and inclusive and just fun to be involved in. And my favorite so far has been the Fish and Dragon Festival, of course, and also our Chinese bridge competition. I was the coordinator for the Chinese bridge competition last year, and I am its coordinator again this year. So I'm looking forward to seeing how we execute it this year. For the Fish and Dragon Festival, I had the pleasure, along with Mr. Christopher Lee, to be one of the presenters for the Confucius Institute video that would have been displayed for the Fish and Dragon Festival. And that was very, very fun. We had a great time. I know Grace would have been there as well, and she probably can testify to how much fun we had and how interesting the entire process was. And I am hoping that I get to be involved again next year as well. So teaching objectives. Because I have been a student of Chinese language for so long, I believe it is my duty to give some of that back to my fellow Barbadians. So I love the fact that CI allows me to promote Chinese culture to the Barbadian public. It allows me to highlight the educational opportunities that China can provide. The Chinese scholarship is one of the best scholarships that I've ever come across in terms of the benefits that you can get from it. A full scholarship, you don't have to pay for books, you don't have to pay for your dorms, your living. And even if you wanted to move off campus, there's a stipend that you are given to help with the move. There's a stipend that you're given every month just for your living expenses. And there are not much scholarships that do that for you. And I would love if more Bajan students would be able to get that opportunity and to use it to further their educational opportunities. For a student like me, who was not very good at science, who was not very good at math, humanity-based subjects were my thing. And there are not often very much scholarships and opportunities afforded to you if you are somebody who is more interested in the humanities than you are maybe in science or business or engineering or one of those. So I think that the Chinese government scholarship is a very, very great way for persons who are maybe into languages, or into culture, into more humanity-based subjects, for them to get an opportunity to see the world, expand their horizons, and still get the education that they need to further their careers. I also love that the CI gives me the opportunity to instill a love for languages and other cultures in students. I loved languages from the time I was young. I was crazy about Spanish. I did Spanish at CXC, and I got a 1 in it. So I was very, very interested in it. And I continue to be interested in Spanish. And for language students, there's not much opportunities afforded as well. And that is because people don't view it as a viable option for you to make money, which is the ultimate goal for most people. But languages can take you so far. And I am so happy that CI is allowing for that to spread throughout the Barbadian schools as well. And the two things that I love most about working at this CI is that it allows me to continue expanding my knowledge of Chinese language and culture, and also continue my connection with Chinese language and culture. So it's a way for me to continue practicing Chinese and to retain everything that I've learned so far, while also gaining new knowledge about China and its culture and its language. So in conclusion, I would just like to say that the Confucius Institute provides an environment where I can continue to study, while can also share all my experience and knowledge with others. And I look forward to what the future holds for me, not only as Chinese language teacher, but a member of the CI team. So thank you everybody for this opportunity. I'm going to end here because I know we're so over time. I don't want to overdo it. And I would like to thank the co-directors as well for continuing to include me in all of these events and all of these opportunities to share my story about my journey with Chinese language and culture. And I hope that we can have another event like this very soon, where we can hear some of the other teachers give their experiences as well, because I think that they all hold very interesting views and very interesting experiences of China in their own right. So once again, thank you. And that is the end of my presentation.
An excellent presentation, Alex. I know I speak for everyone when I say we really enjoyed it. We really enjoyed your experience as well. Now that brings us to the end of my section as host. So I will hand it over to Renee, who will take us through the discussion section and then our closing remarks. So Renee, I hand it back over to you. You're in very capable hands, and take it away.
Thank you, Tyrone. Thank you to all of the presenters. I am sure that everybody who attended learned a lot. I did. From the importance of patience and learning different cultures from Mr. Shu. That's what his students all said, that he was extremely patient with them. And from his presentation of saying that you need to learn the culture of the person you're teaching, because, hey, Barbados only has, what, 2 city and from city bus stops, right? From Professor Song and his friendship, the importance of friendship, especially with things like this summer camp and being able to travel and immerse the locals into the Chinese culture. Then we had Mr. Sawyer with his talk on movies. Well, it was the movies for me. I'm sorry, that was my introduction to Chinese culture as well. And then the relationships and the inclusion of several proverbs that, they really hit home. Joycelyn and her, the Hafti model, and the importance of breaking down, using language and culture to break down barriers. I thought that was really impressive. To Senator Dr. Raffet, your introduction was awesome. I don't think anybody will forget that. You have apparently over time really improved your level of Chinese, and like Alexandria said, your warmth, your enthusiasm for the China-Barbados relation is very appreciated. Alexandria, you are the first Barbadian I know that did Chinese as a degree. So that, to me, that was really outstanding. All of the other students I know went and studied something, but in Chinese. But having, made that decision to, okay, I'm going to learn Chinese language and then bring it back home and share it, which is something I think that people really need to get a taste of. Yes, and Stefan also. I really enjoyed all of the presentations. So we were supposed to have a discussion session, but time being what it is, I will ask that anybody who has anything that they want to ask to put it in the chat and have the person you're asking it to respond to you, because we are really pressed for time. So I will allow a 5-minute span for this. It's now 10 minutes to 12. You have 5 minutes to get your questions and responses in And then we will invite Grace to give the closing remarks. 5 minutes. You can also raise your hand and ask if you need to, but
yes, please don't put comments. This is like old friends meeting.
It is.
Yeah.
Feel free. Stefan, while we're waiting, I would like to commend you for your persistence, because I remember you mentioned that you didn't get the scholarship when you applied the first time, but then you got the excellent commendation from Shubo and ended up working at the embassy for 2 years, where you were then able to improve and actually get a further background in the language before heading off to China, which would have helped immeasurably.
Yeah. Anybody want to say hello to
not a question, but I wanted to say I forgot as well that one of the persons that was very instrumental with, especially when it was in China, would have also been Ambassador Henry, because he was one of the point persons. Anybody that went to China would know from the time you touched down in China, he was one of the students that kind of gathered everybody together and said, oh, you're in Beijing? Okay, in Beijing there is Stefan and Renee and this buddy and this buddy. Oh, you're in Wuhan? Okay, Wuhan has this buddy. I'm going to put you in contact with them. And he kind of made sure that everybody was linked with somebody from Barbados, whether it was in that city over or it was in the actual city. You kind of always knew that there was somebody around to help you out. And that is super, super important for students living in China, because it is so far away from home. You feel very detached a lot of the times, but knowing that you have that community of Bajan persons over there who, if something really bad had to happen, you could lean on, that is very, very important. So I wanted to say, I forgot that part, but I wanted to just add that in there. So this, as Grace said, feels very much like old friends coming together, because I see so many people that are at different points of me studying Chinese or me being in China, were present, like Stefan being my classmate in 2013, and then us becoming colleagues in 2020. So it's a very special experience to be able to not only see everybody, but to kind of be like, you know, your contributions actually paid off. I didn't waste them. They really, really helped me become the person that I am and become the fluent person in Chinese that I am. So I want to say to everybody that I mentioned, as well as all the guests here, thank you again for the opportunity, because it was a very, very great experience for me.
Grace, if I may, I just want to let Alexandria know that I did not forget her. I remember meeting her with about 4 other students at the University of Wuhan, and we had a good time. We had a lot of good discussion, and the questions that you raised, we took them back to Beijing and discussed them with the Council for Education in Beijing. And I believe out of that, some resolution of some of the problems was derived from that visit. So I have fond memories, and I look forward to meeting you at the Institute one day. I'll come over and say hello.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, have your book, but that book waiting for your signature.
Yeah, she has there's a picture of her in the book.
Yeah, she finds her picture in your book.
Yeah. I saw it. It took me way back.
Oh, you saw the picture?
Yeah, I saw it.
Okay.
Yeah. Wonderful. Anybody want to make comments? Sean?
Hi, good evening. Can you hear me? Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name's April, and I worked at Confucius Institute for more than 2 years. And I think the work at CI make me a better person. I met lifelong friends, and I also broadened my horizon, and I also improved my English. And the time I spent at CI is the happiest time in my life until now. And last year I went back to China due to pregnancy. right now I have my lovely daughter Lily, and there's a deal between Lisa, Paul, me, and my husband Stephen. We hope one day they will bring their lovely son Lucky, and we will bring our lovely daughter Lily to go back to China. Sorry, to go back to Barbados.
Barbados, yes.
Just like the song "Beautiful Barbados" by Merryman. Come back to Barbados and me. Come back to my island and me. To be honest, even though I came back to China for almost 1 year, when I communicate with my friends, my volunteer teacher friends, they always say, I miss Barbados so much. I miss the music. I miss soccer. I miss the crop over festival.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, a lot of sweet memories came to my mind. The 40 morning jump. I just hope Confucius Institute will be how to say, will have a bright future. Forgive my English. I think after I came back to China, my English is not so is not so good just like before. I think there's a lot of grammar mistakes, but I want to say thank you to everyone, to my co-directors, to Dr. Song Qingbao, to Dr. Lisa Lee, Dr. Grace Lee, and Mr. David Barbarian, and also Mr. Francois Jackman. Yeah. Because of them, I became a better person. And one day I will definitely go back to Barbados to enjoy the lovely breeze, the beautiful sea. You guys are so lucky. You guys are in Barbados. Okay, that's all. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so many people ask me, where's April? We miss her. When I told them your story, your baby, your newborn baby, they say, oh, very good, very wonderful. Everybody said that you're more famous than co-directors in Barbados. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
And any Sean, you want to speak? Say something, Sean. Zhang, Captain Zhang, you're in China.
Hi, Grace. I'm Dr. Chua. I'm the captain of the 5th China Medical Team. Yeah. I'm very happy to attend the activity today. There are so many wonderful, excellent presentations, and you know that we left Barbados in March, but now I'm in Chongqing. I'm still quarantined in the isolation facility, and I'm not still back home.
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! It's more than 1 month and 1 month.
Yeah, more than 1 month.
Oh,
more than 1 month. Oh but maybe May 1st I can go back home.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I miss you so much, and I miss friends in Barbados. There are many friends in Barbados, and last year we worked in the UWI-CH, and that's a very wonderful experience for all of us, for our team. We helped the patients, and we enjoy some lives and enjoy the work, and I enjoy the beach, enjoying hiking with you.
Yeah.
That's very, very good memories. So many good memories in Barbados. And after I left Barbados, some friends emailed me and sent a message to me. I'm very happy, and I told them, and I miss them very much. And I wish in the future, I look forward to meeting the friends in Barbados, and the friends in Barbados. I wish they can come to Chongqing, and look forward to meeting all of you in Chongqing. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You're in quarantine, and yeah, it's good news for you to knowing you will be out quarantine and get together with your family. Soon. Okay,
Soon.
it's a very unforgettable journey, long journey in history.
Long journey.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for the comments. Okay. Anybody else? Yeah. Yeah. Liu 老师, you want to say a few words? Okay. Yeah. It's almost noon, midnight at China. So a lot of words. I think people feel to want to say, and it's the thing that people may not think how to start. You have 100 millions of words to say, right? Okay, Renee, I think we need to close it. Okay, all right. Thank you, everybody. This is a very for Babin. So I'm not going to say the front to name everybody. I will say distinguished guests, everybody. Good morning, no, good noon, good midnight. 午夜好啊，中午好。So. I feel so excited. I know people in China will have an unforgettable night. I hope you will not stay up too late. So firstly, this, just I just said, this is old friends gathering. Though online, we cannot see each other face to face, but it is good. Thank for the internet, we are able to see each other online and have a gathering like celebration the 45th anniversary of the diplomatic relationship between the two countries, as well as the celebration of the friendship between two countries and the people in the two countries. And this is very like, we are so sorry that we only have a limitation of time. We don't, we want to invite everybody in the process of the exchange, culture exchange, language teaching, but we cannot. We are so sorry. We just named several people that say something on behalf of all of us, Chinese teachers, friends, everybody. So this is like collections of shining memories and stories. I hope someone, I don't know I don't know who can do it. Somebody should be someone to collect all the stories and the memories to form a poem or story, or write a book even. So I think that would be very wonderful, very good work. Well, I will definitely buy that one. So that is the image from me. I thank everybody who made effort to this relationship between people to people exchange and mutually understanding, Chinese teaching and storytelling, the cultural exchange. And on behalf of all the, I think firstly behalf of me, I would like to thank Paul and Lisa and the former teachers and the co-directors to do such a good job to form the Confucius Institute. And we are now able to follow the footprints and move forward until to CI today. And I think also we can on behalf of co-director David Bubulia and all the even Paul and the other co-directors, to pay respect to all the teachers who did a good job in the past and also in the present and in the future for building the Confucius Institute. To make it bigger, make it prosper. And I would like to take this opportunity to pay deeper consolidence to the died 3 teachers, yes, in Karachi. Yes, I don't know why. I think this is I don't know why my tears here. So this is a happy time, but I don't know whether. Yes. Yes. So every teacher, I think, put energy into this work to try to help people in the language teaching and the cultural exchange. Yes, so everybody know, we know, we as a part of the team, the cadre, we are taking our work seriously, and we know for clear what we have been doing is such important that everybody create a history of the world and the changing global make efforts, making effort to the changing global policy. Okay, so I'm so sorry that my saying just now, I don't know what so 非常不好意思 very sorry to yes, so I just want to express my feeling. I don't know why I lose so 为什么我控制不住来 can control myself and okay, all right, so let's just stop here, and on behalf of all the David and me, I express thanks to all the support from the embassy, from the universities, CUPL, University of the West Indies Cave Hill campus, and I would like to the last most important thing to express our thankfulness to all the students, teachers, friends, and so I wish a more splendid future for the two countries. The relationship between the two countries even closer. Yeah, that's all. Thank you. Oh my gosh.
Thank you, Grace, for your kind words. And we do understand a loss like that to the CIA movement across the world would have been felt. So that's fine. Thank you, everyone, again for attending. It was indeed a momentous event, and we look forward to seeing you at the next CIA Cultural Club in the near future. Thank you.
Thank you. Good night. Good night and good noon.
再见。
再见。
Bye. 再见。
再见。
拜拜。
很晚了。哎，徐老师 ，Henry， 再见。
大家都